Still an epic video.
Hello and welcome to Octane Online Racing, and we are back for another night of the Simrigs Sprint Series as we kick off Season 18 and Round 1 of 8, of course, at the Circuit of America's 11 years of history at the FIA Grade 1 track, home to the Formula 1 United States Grand Prix. 20 corners of very intense, in some respects, beautiful, beautiful track. The racing, however, has been questionable at this track, I think is the word to use. We had split yellow, split green last night, and we certainly had some very, very interesting bits of action out on track. We are looking forward to a far more boring time here in the commentary box for split blue. Got split blue and split red tonight, so stay tuned for another great evening of racing here at Octane Online Racing. In the commentary box tonight, it is going to be myself, George Cook, joined by Jaden Rondinella and hopefully Sean Bubnow as well. At the moment, just me and Jaden in the commentary box. Jaden, mate, welcome in to the commentary box. How you doing this evening?
Doing well. Thank you very much. I'm very excited for this new season. As I did say last night, was not the greatest racing, especially turn 1 for yellow, and I'm pretty sure it was the same with blue. We'll be interested to see how turn 1 goes tonight with this race.
Certainly will be. It's a tricky way to start the circuit, that's for sure. Straight into easily the biggest braking zone on the circuit. It tightens up very much. Then we're straight into the S's, turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So it's very much a difficult place to get right at turn 1 and through the first sector. Welcome to those in chat on both YouTube and Twitch. Lovely to have you in here. You might have just spotted there the 454 car who's on screen right now, Pit Viper, but that livery on there does have Hulk Hogan on it, and I've been told that there are 8 liveries lined up, all with WWE pros on it, so very much looking forward to seeing what Brent Sykes will bring throughout Split Blue's season. Welcome in Sean, welcome in Craig, Will, Peach, Dasbach as well. Lovely to have you all in here, and we've got our special series today. Of course, it is the Sprint Series format. So we've got 2 Super Sprint, I should say. So 2 30-minute races here, 2 qualifying sessions. And the second qualifying, of course, is going to be no qualifying for the top 10. That's the result of race 1. And they will be starting in reverse as well, Jaden.
Oh, now that's going to shake up the grid quite a bit, especially for the start of the second race for Split Blue. Seeing these faster guys behind some of the ones that they've just beaten will be making for some really good racing. I'm very excited to see where everyone's going to end up.
Yep, that's right. And of course, you know, if you win the first race, or if you happen to come 10th, you might be starting from the back of that top 10. Everyone else will go for qualifying again in that second round. Shorter qualifying format as well. We've got 5.5 minutes now on the clock. Let's see if anyone's got any bankers in so far. Yeah, we do have a 2:06.3 from Sean Brimblecombe. We've got Joshua Holmes in this lobby as well, and he has been mighty fast in that Ford Mustang. He was setting 2:05.3s under fast track conditions, which is incredibly spicy. And this is the man right here, and it's not a Ford Mustang, so it's a Lamborghini. Just getting my manufacturers ever so slightly mixed up there, I think.
A little bit mixed up. Very similar cars, not at all. But the Lamborghinis seem to have had pretty good pace around this track from what I've seen so far. Holding on to very good times. That is a 2:05.8 for Joshua Holmes now.
So he's already decided to put the pedal down. Very good to see, of course. And Joshua Holmes will be, I think, the big contender to be taking out some good points throughout the season. Looking for that pro category win. Of course, for those who are unfamiliar with the format, 4 categories of driver. It is, of course, the pros, silvers, the pro-ams, and ams in that order. And there'll be some out there looking to take their category wins and get themselves an upgrade of that badge. Of course, we don't have an alien badge, so that's not going to be on the line. Currently on board with Burton, and he's just heading through turn 11 now. And wasn't a great exit there, lost about 3/10 on that, so not ideal. A little bit close quarters with those around him too, and he's exactly 4/10 off the back of Joshua Holmes right now. The track conditions out there still fast, so that means that there is slightly less grip available, and you really do notice the difference between optimum and fast at the Circuit of Americas. It is just one of those tracks where it's all about the grip.
Oh, 100%. I know myself and a few other people were struggling with the grip last night, especially split yellow. The track only becoming optimum in the last minute of the qualifying. So we'll see if the track does change up, hopefully towards the end, and maybe we can get some really quick time.
Yeah, I mean, usually when the track is a bit hotter, it does get the optimum conditions coming out a bit, well, hopefully a bit earlier than you might see. Sean Brimbacomb's going to go across the line, found 3/10 that lap, very nice. Puts him into second, just ahead of Logan Burton. The sector purple from Ishan Lel, who's going quick as well. That is going to be across the line. A very solid time. In fact, it's good enough for pole position. Lel in the number 8 car. Aston Martin, a 205.6. That is going to put Joshua Holmes under a bit of pressure. Will he answer? And yes, he does, immediately. So I would argue, Jaden, that the track conditions may be improving already. It's still set at fast, but with 24 degrees Celsius now instead of 23, track is warming up. And I suspect the drivers are getting warmed up themselves as well, because those lap times are dropping fast.
These lap times are certainly insane. I'm wondering if we might see a 204 with tonight's qualifying. We do have some really alien-paced races, especially in these last two splits. They're very much pushing for something like a 204.
Exactly right. Has some comments in chat as well. Will's in here, Arthur, Dink Dong, Lucas Keys, Sage as well. The Hampsters in here. Ravenous Aardvark as usual. Thank you for all the comments. Yes, it is Benjamin Hickman on the tools tonight, so he'll be showing us his fancy camera work once again. Excited to see what kind of angles we're going to get. That is one of many right there. So back on board with Joshua Holmes. He's on the lap right now. Looks like a pretty good one. Found a 10th at the moment. Those upshifts nicely timed in that Lamborghini, and I guess that's probably where it has a little bit of an advantage. Really good getting up to its top speed very quickly, and that can be handy in these scenarios. I have no idea what it's like in terms of handling, because I have yet to drive the Lamborghini at all, but MR car around here should be pretty strong, and the Lamborghini has certainly seemed like a weapon.
Very much also the drivers behind it. Joshua Holmes is a great driver from what I've seen. I will be more interested to see how well it handles against the Fords on the straights when it actually comes to race time. I do know that the Fords have been pulling away a little bit, but Lamborghini will probably be able to keep up within the corners.
Yep, absolutely right. Yeah, the Ford has been incredible, in fact, around here. A lot of people choosing it now. That's a good lap from Walsh. Silver driver in the 113. Ferrari puts himself just under 2/10 from the pole position. And this is going to be Josh Holmes' lap. This will be the last lap they go on to now. Lost a bit of time on entry. Does he gain it on exit? No, just a flat 0.00. So no improvement there. In fact, that time was so close to his best. We'll see how he does. Half a second, I should say, being found by Austin McNeil now. That's exactly what he needs for pole position. He's just got to make it through this last couple of corners. This double right-hander, so tricky to get right. Every time I go into there, I always feel like I get the entrance nailed and then just don't get the power on it soon enough. It's tricky to know exactly what that point is, and you always feel like you're doing it just a little bit too late.
Either you're too late or you're going off of the track. I found that very much was something that was happening last night. Going way too wide out at the end of that corner, but oh, and we've got a 205.3 putting McNeil at the front on pole, but we will see if Joshua Holmes can set a better lap as he is on his last qualifying lap.
Indeed, he is. So qualifying now ticks down to 0.4321, and that will be it. We had a brief yellow flag out on track. That'll be someone resetting back to the pits. Yeah, Will in chat saying, is this pole for McNeil? It could well be, but Joshua Holmes is going to have an answer for it. It has yet to go optimum track conditions, still fast out there, but this is the nature of it. When you get used to what the fast track will feel like, you can start to extract just that little bit of extra time. So towards the last sector, now goes Joshua Holmes. He's got 3/10 on the board right now. You did say, Jaden, we could see a 24, a 0.4, sorry, and this could well be it. Does lose a little bit of time on exit, now in towards one of the trickier braking zones. Got to aim away from the corner, get it turned in, get it straight, and then slam on the accelerator as much as possible. Double right-hander, here we go, turn 17, 18. Lost a little bit of time in the corner, but gained it on the exit. That's looking very positive. Remember, he does need 0.38 on that delta to get into the 0.4s. Yellow flag out on track, not an issue at the moment. Final corner. Can he find time on the exit? He does on the entrance. Loses a little bit on the exit. It's going to be close. It is a 2.04. No, it's not by 1/10. So he just lost it a little bit there. But that is a statement at the end of this qualifying session.
I think that is very, as you said, very much a statement. Trying to set his place on this track. Currently watching Alice go for their last lap. It is looking like it'll put him down possibly into the top 3, which will be meaning that we're going to have very close racing at the start here. Joshua Holmes with that time though, that is very close to a 204. I'm imagining it's still on a fast track. So yeah, it's going to be great, especially when they're on their optimum.
There we go, Breno Ellis across the line, takes P3. Everyone around him has finished and gone to the pits. Did just see Breno get a little bit loose on the exit of turn 19. Couldn't get the power down as nicely as he would have liked, unfortunately. That did cost him the chance. He had enough delta to get up into P2, maybe even P1 there, but just lost it ever so slightly. It's the nature of this track, and that is qualifying 1 done. Remember, we got qualifying 1, race 1, then qualifying 2, and then race 2, and it's a 30-minute sprint. So it's nice, short, sharp, and fun in this super sprint version. We've got a few different formats, a few across the season, of course. We've got the usual 60-minute races, the 30-30, it's the super sprint. That's what we've got today. 60 minutes, that'll be the next round, Barcelona. It's going to be a wet race, 1 mandatory pit stop. And then we're going to have a 75-minute race with variable weather at Suzuka, followed by a 90-minute race at Silverstone. So 4 different formats. And we're going to run through that order twice throughout this 8-round season. Let's have a little look at the grid and these wonderful liveries that have been developed, and Split Blue never fails to deliver. Some really nice racing liveries on the screen right now for your viewing pleasure. And one of my favorites, the 113, Cadbury favorites. Can't go wrong.
Love some Cadbury favorites. Best chocolates around.
Exactly. You get all it's the favorites. You get all, the whole variety. You get one of everything. Now on the right there, that is the 55 Mosaic Motorsport Aston Martin, looking fierce as usual. Love their hexagon livery. Vodafone on the left, on the 254 McLaren, the 117. That's Pixel Races right there. I'm sure Mike Crick will be liking to see his car designs on the screen. Goku McLaren. Well, I have to admit, that is yet another favorite for me right there.
Trent Callahan in the Goku McLaren. Very, very happy to see him up towards the front of the pack. He was very worried that he'd be down at the very back, but I'm very happy to see him right behind JC in the Pixel Races Nissan.
Yeah, that's right. And JC has, I think, at the end of the last season, he was in the Ford Mustang, so he's been favoring that for a while. And now he's moved over to the Nissan GTR. So getting a bit of variety in there is JC. He does like to enjoy that. So he's currently qualified P10 as well. So Garth Horsburgh is in front of him in P9. And then Trent Callahan, as he said, in the number 12, qualified P12. There you go. And if you have any kind of epilepsy, do not look right now, because that is going to trip you out, I think, in the 101. Very confusing, but very cool. And here's the Hulk Hogan liveried Ford. This is beautiful. I love this. Pit Viper, love the colors. Got the American flag on the front of it. And yeah, nice stark yellow. We're going to recognize that one out on track. Very, very easy. That's called Brent Sykes, Ben Curtis next to him, then Tony Spence, Neil Wood. And we've got Lee Perkins there in P24, Nathan Monks in P25, Simon Scanlon will be lining up in P26, Giles Stratford, Edward Fakuri, Dylan McDowell in P29, Joe Williams in 30th, Ben Thomas in 31st, makes a return to the grid. Good to see him back, he's a friend of mine. Liam Kay in P32, Aidan Payne 33, Mark Smith in P34, Tim Kung in P35, Ashton Reynolds does actually qualify fairly well down the grid. That's an unusual position for Ashland, but nonetheless, I think he'll be going for a bit of fun today. And then, of course, finally, it is Kieran Reed and P37. That rounds out your grid. We'll go through the top 10 once again. It is Joshua Holmes, of course, on top. In fact, take us through the top 10. Give us a rundown of who's qualified where in that top 10, Jamie.
Okay, so we have 2 Lamborghinis up at the front with Joshua Holmes taking the pole position, followed by McNeil in second and Alice in the Porsche in third place. We have a Aston up in the top 4 with Lele, I'm guessing is the name. And then we got 2 Ferraris following in 5th and 6th with Walsh and Brimblecombe, followed by the first Ford Mustang and one of the few in the split in 7th of Burton. Johnston following in with another Aston Martin, and then Horsburgh with the McLaren in 9th, and then Jamie Conboy in the Nissan GTR in 10th.
Indeed, yeah. I'm not sure if we're missing a few badges here maybe, but it certainly looks like the pro drivers haven't had necessarily the best of qualifying. We've only got one of them up in the top 10 at the moment. I do believe JC is supposed to be a pro driver. Maybe he's in silver category this time round, since he is in a new car, trying out new things. I think it is Lele. I think you're absolutely right. I think there was, might have been my fault as well. Certainly one of the commentators' fault, started calling Lele Lel. But I think it was confirmed to us at some point it is Lele. So we'll try and maintain that throughout the race as much as possible. Do forgive us if we get any names wrong. It's just the nature of commentary, unfortunately. But we are getting ready now for a 30-minute race formation lap happening at the moment. Any predictions on what we're going to see today?
I can 100% confirm that there will be chaos within the first few turns. I am seeing, is that someone starting from pits, I believe?
It certainly is. It's the 560 car, and that is Kafil Slade.
It's starting from pits. That's an interesting strategy. I guess it might work out, especially if there is T1 chaos tonight.
I was going to say, you know, if you really want to avoid the T1 chaos or it turns 1 to 9, we should say the chaos zone, then that is probably quite a decent strategy. And then, of course, if you can find your way back up into, you know, P10, which is not impossible for a driver of the caliber of Kafil Slade, but a lot of overtaking to do, of course, and that is going to be extremely tricky. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Probably some chaos, unfortunately, but you know, we're gonna cross our toes and fingers. We're gonna touch wood right now. We want a nice, clean start to this race today, and hopefully clean racing all the way through both races. So in chat, do let us know what your predictions are. Tell us who is your favorite, because we're going through now side by side. We'll be through the last corner and we'll be ready to go racing in just a few moments' time. Joshua Holmes will lead us away from Austin McNeil and Breno Ellis, from Lele, from Walsh, from Brimblecombe, Burton, Johnston, Horsburgh, Comboy. And the screen flag is about to go. And we're going to reach this timing line in just a few moments. Turn 1, we're praying for a good, clean race start. Joshua Holmes is slightly ahead at the moment. Looks like McNeil has backed up his side of the grid quite substantially. And that's going to allow the... Oh, wow. What on earth is that? Okay, it wasn't even a second. And we had the Aston Martin veer off into the 113 Ferrari. We've got a few cut in the corners. I don't even know where to look right now. They're 4 wide, 5 wide. There's another McLaren going spinning round. Tagged at the rear. Joshua Holmes leads us away. Austin McNeil holds on to second place. 2 Lamborghinis still at the front. Breno Ellis still in there, holding firm at the moment in 3rd place, followed by the Ford Mustang behind, and then Tomboy. Comboy has gone from 10th to 4th because of that early chaos. We have no idea what happened. We'll get that up on a replay at some point, but we couldn't even say a word, Jaden. Not even a word. 0.5 of a second, and an Aston Martin went to the side of a Ferrari, and we had chaos immediately. However, looks like turns 2 onwards have been relatively clean so far.
We didn't even make it to turn 1. That is a very interesting way to start off the race. But it has been advantageous towards some of the other drivers who are a little bit further back and managed to push straight through. There was a couple spins as well during turn 1, which for a couple cars, didn't see who they were. But right now we're watching Convoy come up on T12. Going to try going for a pass on the Mustang on straight, but backs out of it. Very advantageous for a few cars.
Absolutely, yes. So JC there, still got the inside line, turns into the outside line, but the Ford's braking is very, very good, I think, compared to the Nissans at the moment. Traction looks pretty good for everyone. Fresh tyres, of course, 28 minutes on the clock, and we're still trying to figure out what's happened at turn 1. Luckily, though, no safety cars, so no interruption to racing as it is, and that's side by side as well. Just back there, Horsburgh has lost a lot of positions in this in the 254, so he's just dropping further and further down the grid at the moment. And we've had a comment in chat, someone saying, well, I'm no expert steward or anything, but I think someone is getting a penalty. Yeah, I think your instincts might be right on that one. Someone is definitely going to be getting a penalty. Maybe a few people will get a replay at some point. 1 lap has been completed. Lots to talk about, especially that turn 1 set of incidents. And Joshua Holmes does not have a huge lead over Austin McNeil. He's staying well within the slipstream range. 0.5 of a second is the gap right now between the 24 and the 72. And Brimblecombe is still holding on to that P3 position with Breno Ellis in behind him. Then Burton, then Comboy, then Ashley Johnston, then Callahan, then Sweeney, then McLaughlin. So 3 at the bottom, elevated up into the top 10 at the moment. That bodes well for their race. And this is one of those races, isn't it? You wait for those to get penalties around you. You haven't even talked about drive-through penalties. Here's a replay of the start, and oh wow, he's just moved over. And there is a car there. So wow, that is so lucky for Joshua Holmes that he didn't get tagged by the the 113. Look at this chaos. I don't even know what to say, Jaden.
I'm speechless. This is insane. I feel like that was a little bit worse than Yellow's, with a few more people being able to make it out, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can't believe the 113 did not make contact with the leaders. That was going to be so intense. So here's the number 8. Just keeps on moving over, just drifts sideways, but there's a car there. So, you know, you just can't do that. You've got to be aware of the cars that are around you, and clearly in this case they were. It's just an absolute miracle that the 113 didn't go and take out Joshua Holmes and Austin McNeil, who were right there. Would have had to slam on the brakes, suddenly have a Cadbury Favourites car coming straight across their windscreen. That's no fun.
I'm very surprised about how many people made it through that with so much chaos even before hitting turn 1. But it seems like we're out of those kind of waters now, and we're into the proper racing where we're actually going to see some clean driving and hopefully some really good overtakes.
Exactly right. And one of these battles that is going to be going on, I suspect, for most of the race is going to be Logan Burton versus Jamie Conboy, Ford Mustang versus Nissan GTR 49 versus the 117. This is going to be a great battle. JC's been following so far. Here we go. We've got some penalties being given out already. The number 8 has been given a stop and go 10 seconds. And that is the car, the Aston Martin we saw coming across the 113 at the beginning of the race. So that is a appropriately sized slap on the wrist there for the number 8. And the Shen Lele will have to go into the pit stop and serve that. It is possible there was some sort of hardware issue, because it just looked like the car was just, you know, that could have been a misaligned axle for all we know.
The tire might have popped.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, just
yeah,
potentially. Oh, number 12, that's definitely a track limit violation there. So Goku, unfortunately, you can't Super Saiyan your way out of that one. And that little cut, it's always really tricky following a car, especially when you're really close, like these cars are right now, because the turn-in markers, which is basically make up a couple of centimeters, are basically invisible at that point. So you've got to do it all by feel, all by memory.
It's very, very difficult. You will see as they try to follow each other through these, the struggle of finding where the braking points are, because the markers, most of them are on the actual track. So you'll see as they struggle with it. I don't want to jinx Trent, but I might be expecting a DT from him tonight.
Yeah, that's right. He might even be on a couple already, but he's certainly got one, that is for sure. Stop go has been cleared for the number 8. So they are now good to go racing. Robbie right at the back of the field, though. 3 wide. We have in the background, the Nissan's going to go right down the inside. It's going to be hoping for the others to give him space. They do so. That was an incredible little exchange there. Nothing really happens untowards, though. I believe that was the 36 of Cameron Thistlewaite who managed to take the position away from Aaron Lee, who we're on board with right now. So Aaron Lee, despite going right down the inside, the shortest possible line into the tightest possible version of the corner, nothing untowards has happened. JC nearly gets the inside line there, but Burton does cut off his nose, saying, no, you are not getting that position in that corner. It's one of the rarer places to see an overtake as well. This battle does continue. JC's fallen back a little bit. Bad exit there from turn 19 for him.
We'll be seeing that a lot with JC catching up on the corners and in the tight sections, and then the Mustang just absolutely powering it out through the straights, which is going to keep their battle close, but then it's going to be a very, very long battle. We'll see if JC can even make it past Burton, unless he makes a mistake at some point.
Exactly, on board now is Sean Brimblecombe, Pit Viper Tiger King in P3 at the moment, still hanging on to the back of Austin McNeil. And right behind him, Breno Ellis, looking fierce in that Porsche at the moment. This is going to be another great battle that'll start to evolve. Joshua Holmes does have the fastest lap as it stands right now, and he's starting to build that gap. 1.8 seconds the gap back to P2 and Austin McNeil. The question is, who's going to burn out their tyres sooner than the others? Because that's always the trouble. As soon as you start sliding around the track, it just becomes a downward spiral.
Yeah, and then pushing to keep their pace up so high, their tyres will be gone very, very quickly. Especially through those S's. The S's definitely do take a lot of tyre wear. And we are seeing the Porsche not really being able to keep up with the Ferrari of Brimblecombe down the straight. But yeah, the tyres, let's hope they last.
Yeah, well, you and me both knew from our experience in Split Yellow last night that it wasn't just the chaos, it was the tyres and all the avoiding action at the beginning or whatever it ends up being. It was another attempt to buy the 62 car to get down the inside, doesn't work out, actually going to compromise himself. to the Ferrari behind. But yeah, as soon as you get those tires out of the zone, it's just an absolute nightmare. And this circuit is one of those circuits we have to be so calm. And it's so hard to be calm at a circuit like this with all the stuff going on. Oh, it's Ferrari's dive down the inside. Beautiful move there. Does get it down, powered down beautifully as well. GTR's not going to have an opportunity to defend, so Aaron Lee will lose that position to McLean, the number 4 Pro-Am driver there in the Ferrari. Beautiful move that was into turn 16. Very nicely done. And looks like the Nissan's having a few issues, just not really finding the turn in or finding the grip. Might have cooked his tires a few degrees too many. Do see him make that big lunge. He's going to lose another position here to the McLaren behind. So Horsborough will start to reclaim some positions in that Vodafone. McLaren, they're going to be side by side. Look at the Nissan though. It's not got a slipstream or anything. It's just gone up. I'm just gonna drive past it, mate.
The Nissan decided to actually turn on its power today to get through. Oh.
Yeah,
this Porsche of Chris Murphy we're currently watching getting overtaken by Dharma in the Audi currently through the S's. That livery is really hurting my eyes.
Even from a distance. Yeah, that's right. It's a tricky one. Oh, Chris Murphy! Oh, nice little power slide. So he's having a bit of fun out there in the 101 car at the moment. So I'm sure he'll continue his battle here. Interesting to see the Audis as a choice. It's a car that we see very, very rarely on the grid. Of course, we have Benjamin Piper in split yellow. I think he's the only other driver to be running that. I'll do a double check just to make sure I'm right about that. But I think it is one of those choices that is very far between.
We've also got Saxon Hayes in the red split in the Audi as well.
There we go. So 3 across, what, 120 drivers-ish or more, I think, across all the different splits.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Pretty rare choice, but seems to be pretty good at Circuit of the Americas. I certainly recall Benjamin Piper making a few moves on me, or one, I should say, to overtake me. So that's the way it does go. And we continue to look at the battle at the front, and the gap has started to open up between Austin McNeil and Brimblecombe. So whether the Ferrari is having a few struggles or not, might just be a few not ideal laps there from Brimblecombe. Is still getting a lot of pressure. Here's JC. Is he going to make a move? He's dived down the inside. Beautiful place to do it. And he's got the apex. Will he have the exit? Oh, that's beautiful. JC, textbook move there. And now Austin McNeil will go on through. Getting awfully close with Breno Ellis behind him. I feel like this might start to coming into the realms of sooner rather than later here for Breno Ellis, who's been putting on the pace at the moment. He's got a few good lap times to his name as well. If I have a quick look here, Breno Ellis last lap 206.1, 206.3 for Sean. So Sean is running a couple of tenths slower per lap. Fastest lap as well for Breno Ellis at 205.4. Fastest lap out there right now, 205.3. Of course, Joshua Holmes is really starting to build that gap now. His last lap was a 205.4. Austin McNeil, though, doing 205.6s. So this is why the gap is starting to open up between McNeil and Brimblecombe. And that is going to be, of course, fantastic news for both of those two. I'm getting a comment in chat. We've got a little bit of microphone lag apparently coming in, and a bit of audio glitch there. So Ben might want to have a quick look at that if that is something going on.
Hopefully it is not.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. No, it looks like Jay Holmes is very much holding his position down at the front with that almost 3-second lead now. It'll be interesting to see if McNeil can make up that time. Especially with Brimblecombe slowly catching up, and we'll probably see them start battling very soon as well, which will mean, of course, they slow down, giving Holmes more of a gap.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, track conditions out there much hotter now than in qualifying. In qualifying, I think we got to what it was about 24 degrees Celsius on track, and now it's 31. So whatever you learned in qualifying, throw it out the window. It does not apply. We've got 17 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Everyone's getting lag at the moment, so okay, we are aware of the lag. Thank you very much for letting us know. We will do our best to get that sorted as soon as possible, ladies and gentlemen. That's usually not an us problem. It's usually an internet problem, and clearly not a you problem.
Sounds like a skill issue to me.
Ben, this one's on you. Bread Cook saying, Ben, fix it. Yeah, there we go. Fix it, Ignat. There we go. That's the new nickname. So the battle rages on. Breno getting ever closer. He's got the slipstream as well. Oh no! Brimblecomb's had a slide. Such a tricky braking zone, that one. And you want to be sort of hugging the curb as much as possible, so you can try and straight line the exit as much as possible. Unfortunately, that little slide there is going to have cooked the tyres. Look how fast JC has caught up to the back of Breno Ellis.
Very to see if JC will be able to get past these guys and move up towards the possibly getting up to Brimblecombe and then fighting for a podium position.
Yeah, based on the speed of JC right now, he'll be right on the back of Breno Ellis in a matter of laps. And that, if he gets a good overtake, as he's done so on Burton, clearly the speed of the Nissan down the straight, the braking zones of turn 1, an optimum area for him. Here's a replay. Oh, max lock there. Yep, that was a big one. That was a big one for Brimblecombe. Does nicely to control it though.
That is one way to kill your tyres. We'll see how long Brimblecombe's tyres last now, especially with slides like that starting to happen across the field more and more.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling, especially when you've only gone halfway through the race and your tyres are feeling pretty awful. It is not a nice thing to be experiencing at all. And you just know that it doesn't get any better. That's the thing that always gets me. It never gets any better.
Sorry, I just got infatuated. Got infatuated in the Astons battling it out in the corners just before we moved over to the Porsche.
Yeah. Sweeney and Johnson still going for it. This battle now, McLaughlin with Thistlewaite right in behind. 64 Porsche is looking a little all over the place in terms of the track. And now it's going to have to contend with the McLaren probably doing a send up the inside into turn 1. Did see another penalty being applied. I'll try and confirm who that is. In fact, I'll read through the penalties. A beautiful move there from Thistlewaite. Can he get it slowed down? No, the McLaren not good when you go too hard on the brakes, and he may even lose the position to Aaron Lee. Looks like he has. I think Aaron Lee has. No, he just managed to hold on as Thistlewaite, so he'll have another shot. Well, I tell you, having been a McLaren driver all my time in ACC, the tyres at this circuit do not do well at all, and it depends heavily on how much TC you're using and what gear you're using as well. Most of the drivers will be experiencing that. A lot will be using that turn, or not a lot of them will be using gear 1 to get out of corners. Let's just put it that way. You want to avoid spinning the tyres as much as possible, but it's such a fine balance to get between the TC you need to be fast out of the corners and the amount of TC you need to keep the tyres from lighting up.
Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot of these drivers starting to do more safe strategy, just trying to keep the tyres a bit cooler and losing less of their traction around these bends, as we're almost stopping on that turn there.
Yeah, that's right. It's another tricky one. Of course, into, I think it's turn 13. It's a lot sharper than people may think, but it's all about straight lining that exit. And Brimblecombe now really under pressure, really under a lot of pressure from Breno Ellis, who did go a little bit defensive, tried to have a sneaky look up the inside at turn 13. Didn't work out for him, of course. Lots of curb there for JC. Into turn 19 we go. This is track limit territory right here. I was about to say drive-through territory. It's not quite at that point so far. I don't believe we've seen anyone with a drive-through. I'm going to do a double check right now and see if I can pull up all the stats on the penalties around the grid right now. It does look like we've got Ben Thomas in the pits. He's got a 25-second penalty for causing a collision, and Kieran Reid as well in the Audi we saw earlier has also got himself a penalty up further up the grid. Nothing at the moment from anyone else. So if there is anyone holding a bunch of track limit warnings, well, they're still holding on at this stage, and this battle continues to rage on.
That Nissan GTR is just sitting back there, I'm thinking, waiting for the Porsche and Ferrari to get into a proper battle out on the track, and then we'll probably make his move around that point, as is probably the safest option, especially on a track like this, where they're all trying to just keep their tyres nice and fine. So at any point, there could be a drive-through coming through.
Here's Aaron Lee versus Cameron Thistlewaite. Oh, wow, okay. That was a close one. Aaron Lee did end up backing right out of that. Neither McLaren was going to be coming across his nose. probably a little more vigorously than he thought. That is a track limit warning right there. Cameron Thistlewaite, who's pushed it just a little bit too hard on the exit of turn 9. So he'll be starting to lick his wounds from that one at some point. Is Breno Ellis. He's going defensive now. Oh, JC's driving past him. Into the braking zone we go. Porsche brakes so pretty good. He'll have the apex into the corner. JC has to give him space. Or space just enough given. Centimeters though. Again, here we go. Oh, so close. JC's still got the inside line now. And through into this braking zone. It'll now become Breno Ellis' turn to be on the inside line. And JC's going to try and go wide and do the switchback, but that's not going to come of anything, unfortunately, this time. Breno Ellis, what a beautiful defensive masterclass that was.
I wish I learnt some of that defensive moves last night for my race.
Yeah, it is a tricky book to learn from, but one that Breno Ellis knows very, very well. And that's nearly a bit wide there from Breno. This is a fantastic battle brewing between these two. And I think you're absolutely right when you said that Jamie was just sort of biding his time, but when you have that opportunity come your way, you go, right, well, I need to take it. I need to take the advantage as soon as I possibly can. And JC just wasn't able to get it done. It was like 3 corners they were side by side.
Yeah, especially coming off of that back straight there after turn 11, there's a lot of times when you'll catch the cars ahead because you're in their slipstream and you'll just accidentally get alongside them, ready for the next corner, and you just make the move even if you weren't really wanting to make the move yet.
We return to the battle of the Aston Martins. The number 55 in Johnston ahead of the number 48 in Sweeney. That was a little bit sideways through the S's. Does manage to pull it back in line. Great to see these cars here. I really did think about switching to the Aston Martin. I think one of the best sounding cars in ACC.
I would have to agree. Someone who drives the Aston for the endurance races that we do, and for someone who's currently using it for the sprint series that we're in, I agree. The car sounds absolutely amazing. It's one of the cars that sounds really good inside of it, and one of the cars that sound great on these cameras that we're looking at.
Exactly right, and it is a strong car around here as well. If you get the tuning just right, they do have to get the tuning just right, but it's got fierce turning if you can get it set up correctly. And these two here certainly know what they're doing. Likewise do you. Quick out there last night on the Aston Martin. It was very, very good pace seen by all of the Aston Martins, in fact. Guys. But then again, I'm in a McLaren and I had no tyres. I actually did make the mistake of going onto the same set of tyres for race 1 and qualifying, so I only ran 3 sets of tyres last night. That was a bit of a mistake. Nonetheless, I digress. No, it doesn't. No, and I had a few people commenting in my stream saying just how smart I was for doing that. It was an incredible strategy. I've got camera 2 up. We're on board on the right-hand side. Keep an eye there. I do believe that's Sean Brimblecombe. I'm not quite sure. Someone else might be one of the Aston Martins there. Oh, no, that's Breno Ellis. So it's Breno Ellis. We're on board the camera 2. And, of course, the battle does continue. We've got 9 minutes left in this race. It's still optimum out there. 31 degrees Celsius track temperature here. This is the first race of 2 in split blue in the season here at the Circuit of the Americas. A little housekeeping item, of course, before we continue. Of course, this is the Simrigs Sprint Series here at Octane Online Racing Season 18. And for those of you who are Octane Online Racing Patreons, you do get 5% off on the simrigs.com website. So a big thank you to all our patrons. And if you do want to support us, get a nice blue name in the Discord, stand out just that little bit, and of course that 5% discount. So we do appreciate everyone who is supporting us in the background. It takes a lot of volunteer hours and money to run an awesome league like this. So do consider becoming a patron. Here's a replay. Let's have a little look. What's happened to 454? Brent Sykes, he slid into the side of a Red Bull livery Porsche. There's full-on action. Favourites gets involved as well. That's not ideal.
That was not ideal at all. As we said, the tyres would be getting very loose, especially later in. Those Mustangs rip through tyres normally anyway. So I'll be interested to see what kind of penalties come around for something like that.
Indeed, 22 minutes it took. 22 minutes, and we now have our first track limit drive-throughs. Going on board, here's Sweeney trying to make a move somehow on Johnston. Will he be able to do it around the outside? It's going to be tricky. Equal machinery here. A little bit later braking there from the 55. Sweeney's going to continue to try to get side by side and force Ashley offline. And that is Cameron Thistlewaite in the 36 McLaren. Well, we did say, Jaden, that he was going to be running pretty close to the limit, and he's gone over, and unfortunately, Fakuri 2 in the 830 McLaren. So 2 McLarens finding themselves with drive-through penalties that massive, especially for Thistlewaite, who was looking at maybe securing a P10, which would have become a pole position start and not having to do qualifying 2 for race 2.
Yeah. Right now, the ultimate goal is to be in the top 10. Not doing that qualifying is, it's a gift. As someone who was very lucky to not have to do qualifying yesterday for the second race, I was very happy.
Indeed, but yes, yeah, very lucky I had to do 2 as well. Oh, here we go. Breno Ellis has tried and unfortunately not succeeded this time. Brimblecombe holds him off. Realised that he had just enough overlap still on Breno down the straight to take the defensive inside line, force Breno to the outside. And there was nothing that was going to be done there by Breno. That's a track cut there for Breno Ellis too. So as we were saying before, very difficult to follow cars and not get a track limit violation through the S's, turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately has happened for Breno. He'll have to nurse the car now a little bit. I'm not sure how many he's on, but I don't think we've seen him go across the line too many times. That was another close one.
That could have almost been a second warning. I do know though that in the S's the track limits can sometimes be a bit iffy. Yesterday I went a little bit off the track in the S's and managed to get out with no time gains somehow. But it would be interesting to see if anyone could pull that off tonight.
Yeah, it's just completely dependent on the server and what's going to be happening. So here we go, JC again. He's found the overspeed. Is it enough this time though to stop Breno from holding the inside line, getting deja vu from the previous lap? But this time JC has got just enough, so he'll be able to pull back onto the racing line and secure that position. And that'll be his turn to go. No, it won't, because he gets really loose on the exit of turn 13. Breno's going to have another chance to get back through, but JC is defended beautifully. So a real switch back there, and JC has taken P4 away from Breno Ellis. It's cost them quite a bit of time to Brimblecombe, who gets a little bit of breathing room. Nice sharp, shallow line there from Breno. He's trying to get back in the range to maybe make a move back on JC. JC's missed turn 19 completely. It could happen. Will there be a launch down the inside? It's a tricky one, but Breno's going to do it. And JC will have to go for the switchback and try and use the power of the GTR to get back ahead and maybe do a big send into turn 1. Getting flashes of deja vu here between these two.
We're seeing the impact of the track and the tires getting destroyed on a lot of these cars. You're seeing a lot of them lose their traction. JC really trying to push for this position into 4th place, where he'll want to be moving up. Here's a replay of...
JC,
was that a little bit of contact there? I'm not 100% sure. But
just the
very
tiniest bit, wasn't it? Yeah, just the tiniest bit of contact. Nothing, I think, came of it at all. And JC will not, unfortunately, have that position. Just, yeah, he got the position beautifully, but yeah, he just overcooked it a little bit into turn 13, and the car went sideways, and Breno didn't have any traction issues at that point, and basically said, well, look, there's a gap there, and I'm going to take it. So he does so. The battle will continue. We've got 3 minutes and 50 seconds now on the clock. Joshua Holmes still leading away. 4-second gap back to Austin McNeil. He's in P2 at the moment. Is Austin McNeil has had a quiet race. Both of them quiet race. That said, Austin is not that far ahead of Brimblecombe.
No, not far at all. Only a 1.5-second gap. So there could be a chance of Brimblecombe catching up. Well, JC still right on the back of Alice, really trying to make that pass. I'm really hoping to see some sort of move by JC in these last 3 minutes of the race.
I think he's got all the... Well, I was going to say he's got all the time to do it. He really doesn't. He's only got 3 minutes to do it, so he's got about... Or arguably 3 or 2 laps to go after this. Yeah, I think it's about 2 laps to go. Definitely not 1 lap to go, that's for sure. But, I mean, you know, he's so quick in that Nissan down the straights. He just needs to hold on through the S's in Sector 1. If he can hold on through there and get really close on the exit of turn 9, get a good bit of power, then really, you know, turn 11 could even be the place that he does it. In fact, ideally, if he does it into turn 11, he'll have the power to pull away from the Porsche on that back straight towards turn 12.
Well, yeah, 100%. That Nissan, as I said before, has really great acceleration, can take these turns really well. The Porsche as well being great for going through the turns. We're seeing a 15-second penalty for McLaughlin. I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't see that happen. Which will put him out of the top 10 for this race. But Yeah.
Oh, it's gutting for McLaughlin, sitting in P10 and a second and a half back to Aaron Lee. So had a guaranteed no qualifying and starting at the start at pole position for race 2, and that is now slipped out of his grasp, unfortunately. That means that Aaron Lee right now is set to lead us away at the beginning of race 2, assuming he can finish where he is right now. He's got Ashton Reynolds just behind him, and Ashton, who's driven from the back of the grid, bear in mind, has got himself all the way up into P12. And if he can get himself ahead of Aaron Lee, then that is going to mean that he starts on pole position. Ashton Reynolds, of course, he was the season victor in the pro category in season 17 for Split Blue. And he's obviously looking to make a bit of an impact here as well. I do wonder if this was maybe a strategy of his. Don't qualify, start at the back of the grid, make it up to, as long as you make it up to P10, start at the front of the grid. Maybe not. Maybe he's just having a bit of fun this season.
Who knows? It seems that everyone's trying to make a statement this season with their starting positions and how they're racing. You can definitely see that everyone's trying to push that rust away and get back into gear.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's not the most critical race 1, of course. It is a time to make a statement, but there is one drop round across the season, so if you don't get a good result today, you don't have to worry about it too much. The battle continues here. Johnston versus the other Aston Martin there of Sweeney. Still very close. He's got 40 seconds now on the clock. And across the line will come Joshua Holmes, so he will now be on the last lap of this race. And holding fast at the top of the grid. He'll start P10. Just bear in mind, qualifying does not happen for the top 10 finishes in this race, and it will be a reverse grid. So Joshua Holmes will start P10 for race 2 if he finishes in the first position. Oh, wow, that's very fast. 28, that's Ashton Reynolds in the Mercedes, going up the inside of Aaron Lee. Oh, it's gutting for Aaron Lee, just being pushed out of the top 10 now. McLaughlin's penalty will be applied after the race. And that means Ashton Reynolds is going to be in P1 if he finishes there. But Aaron Lee's going to try and make a bit of a move back. Got the inside line, a little bit of an overlap, so Reynolds is going to have to give him a bit of space, but traction has been put down. The Mercedes goes ahead. And I'm being told in chat that Holmes is actually pronounced Holmes. Yes, well, that might just be a bit of a potato-potato situation. If it is Holmes, then I do apologize, of course, to Joshua. But it might be my English accent coming to bite me once again.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like Holmes is taking it home, as they would say, with McNeil still sitting at about 4 seconds behind, and Brimblecombe almost 2 seconds behind McNeil there.
Exactly. It's been a very boring race for Joshua. He's not had to do quite a lot. He's just had to go and do 30 minutes of qualifying laps, and he has done exactly that. Fastest lap of 2:05.490. So very, very speedy is Josh, and he is going to make a big statement in race 1 of 2 of the first round. It's being asked in chat, is blue/red the top split? No. The categories are what determines whether you're faster or slower. So the white badges there are the top drivers in each split, and each split there's 4 splits: yellow, green, blue, and red, and there is no segregation between them in terms of the speed. So it's not like we have all the pros in blue or anything like that. It's all 4 splits are completely mixed up. Across the line, flashing the lights for Josh Holmes. Number 24 Lamborghini takes the win in race 1, followed by Austin McNeil. Brimblecombe, who got a lot closer to P2 at the end there. Renault Ellis will take home P4, and JC couldn't get Renault Ellis in the last few laps of this race. He comes home P5. Then Burton, who got dropped by JC early on. Then Johnston will finish ahead of Sweeney, so he'll be the top Aston Martin of the grid. Then the number 12 Callahan. That's a good result for him. P9, so he'll start P2, and then McLaughlin comes across the line, but he's going to drop well down the grid, and he'll have to go for qualifying in Q2 coming up shortly. That means Ashton Reynolds has taken P10 and will start at the top of the grid for race 2.
And that is a great result for Reynolds, especially starting from the back, as you said. So great driving there.
A bit of a close one there for for McDowell at the back, but a little bit of a close finish between those two. Nonetheless, very nice. Brent Sykes has a drive through at the end of this race, so it's unfortunate for him. His race has gone from bad to worse, sadly. So that is going to conclude race 1 of 2 A few still across the line. Wow, did not see these penalties further down the grid. There's a whole bunch of action there. 30 seconds of penalties for Stratford and Sykes. And that's going to be a conversion of the drive-through, I think, at the end of this race. They are now, of course, across the line and all done with the session. We've got a few at the end there. Don't think Thomas actually made it out of the pits. He got his penalty and he just decided that's it, going to retire the car for this race. And Lele, of course, the number 8, who caused a lot of chaos at the beginning, or quite a bit of chaos, does finish down in P34 in the number 8 Aston Martin. So we may see Lele make a return during qualifying 2. So that means we've got the bottom 27 drivers will be out there for qualifying 2, which will begin in a few moments' time. We'll keep an eye on the track conditions as well, and we'll tell you exactly how it is for qualifying 2. But not a bad race 1. There was a bit of chaos at the start to be expected, but overall quite an exciting race and lots of overtaking, side-by-side action, which is great. Hope to see the same in race 2 shortly.
Absolutely. Hopefully T1 is also a lot cleaner.
Yeah, we cross our fingers, but it is Circuit of the Americas, isn't it?
I mean, it's not Monza, though.
No, that's very true, actually. Yeah, at the very least, there's a nice wide track for everyone to go around on after turn 1. So there are some benefits to it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. At the end of the day, it's the start of the season. Everyone's shaking off the rust, as you said earlier, Jaden. It's a super sprint series as well, so it's 30-minute races. And that is a car very much stopped, and I believe also stopping us from going into qualifying 2. There we go. Now the session has ended. Not sure who that is, but thanks to Ben for giving us the zoom in. And now we can see what snacks the crowd are eating. There we go. A bit of popcorn. All right, so qualifying 2 has now begun. 10 minutes on the clock for this, so got to get out there, got to get that banker in. And of course, a lot of the faster drivers will now be locked up in that top 10. They won't be going out for qualifying this time round. Have a little bit of an interesting, a slightly different way to start the race, where the top 10 will be asked to go and line up ahead of the grid at the beginning of the race, and then they'll lead us away, and it'll be a delayed start as well for race 2. We'll talk you guys through that in short order once we get back out on the grid. For now, it's all about getting that next bank lap in.
A lot of these drivers will be pushing for a good banker lap. Everyone's obviously now just fighting for that P11, so I'm hoping to see some of these guys go out and push their cars to the limit.
Exactly right. Track conditions out there, it is optimum this time, so that's going to be a much nicer qualifying experience than the under optimum conditions.
We'd see from some of the drivers who might have dropped out at the start with their high times, we might be seeing a 204 appearing, especially with the optimum track conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm waiting for one.
Yeah, you just. Yeah, so that's all we want to see today. We don't really care about anything else. Just want to see that 204. If we see the 204, we'll be very, very happy. And we shall see. We shall see. Here's Lele. They're all going out on their outlaps right now. Got to find that space too. Don't want to be stuck behind a car or stuck with a faster car behind you. Of course, no overtaking is to be done. If there is a car on a valid lap ahead of you, seeing all the cars at the moment blue on the track map. So they're on a technically an invalid lap, and there's of course out laps. See a few of those go quite in short order. 454, yeah, there's Brent Sykes, who is the first one out there on track, getting around and going to be on his hot lap in just a few moments' time. So you're only going to get about 3 or 4 maybe. Just a maybe. There's Hulk Hogan, camera 2, have a good look. I love how the overlap of the glasses is on the handle, the door handle. Love that. Really nice work on the livery. Like this man right here. It's absolutely glorious. And super appropriate. Oh, Brent Hollywood Sykes. There we go. He's even got the nickname up. I love it.
That car just screams America at the moment.
He's done the old travesty there of painting the diffuser, so maybe a minus point just for that. But it is it does work. It does work actually. I have to admit. So maybe you have to add points for that this time.
Maybe.
Maybe yeah. For an uncoloured diffuser. Then again, at least you can see where it is. You'll be able to see if it's damaged, that's for sure. It seems to have taken a pretty nice run through turn 9 and 10. Power on nicely, see it does through turn 11. It's the apex nicely, does he get the power on? Just runs over that curve ever so slightly. Wasn't enough to really compromise acceleration. But I think we all know that feeling. If you just hit that exit curve or one of them, even just that little bit, the car bounces, you're suddenly finding yourself losing half a second down the straight.
Yeah, and especially in a car like the Ford, though, I feel like they can build up their speed back quite easily on a straight, especially that long.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And, they do, I mean, you can tune them to eat the curbs quite nicely. At least that was my experience of driving around Donington Park. I was driving over past the track and I felt like I shouldn't have been able to, but then again, I am a McLaren driver, so it's not really any curbs that the McLaren can take without me to go into sudden death mode, that's for sure. Looks like a good line through turn 17 and 18. Turn 19 we go. Hit the apex nicely. Yes, he does. Good exit as well. Gets the power down beautifully. To the final corner. Nice brake. Nice late braking. Does miss the apex there, but it doesn't actually matter if you do. If anything, it can give you more traction across the line. Let's see what it is. It's a 206.1 to kick off qualifying 2. So let's see what everyone else can. Walsh immediately takes it away from him with a 205.7. Here's Lele. And don't pay any attention to the red timing screens on the top there. Let's see what kind of lap time this is. It's a 206 flat, exactly. Nice.
Love it. Just a flat number. It's very nice looking.
Exactly, yeah. 0, 0, 0. I think that there's some sort of nanosecond in there somewhere, but we don't care. 0, 0, 0. So Walsh is on pole position at the moment, and it is actually P11. Just bear that in mind, and 113 for Ferrari. Still can't believe how lucky everyone was at the beginning in some ways, because the 113 had nowhere to go. Got pushed straight across the corner. Of course, at that point, Walsh was a bit of a passenger. So lucky for Austin McNeil and Joshua Holmes to avoid being hit there. Absolutely. Nonetheless, the luck hopefully will continue for those two at the top, and hopefully we'll get a bit of a better start at turn 1. A little bit up on their time at the moment is Ashan Lele. If they can hold on to this will be starting to creep into the lower 205s.
Yes, we should put him right up at the P11, not pole for the whole thing, but pole for this qualifying. It looks like they're going to hold 2 tenths at the moment, but we'll see when they make it around turn 12, which is what they're coming into right now.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen with the top 10, because we've got Joshua Holmes, of course, starting P10 because he won the race 1. And we've got Ashton Reynolds, who's also an incredibly fast driver, starting in pole position because he finished P10. I would love to see what Josh can do to catch back up to Ashton Reynolds, especially with Reynolds starting on pole position.
Very, very much so. We have fast drivers at the front, the back, and right in the middle as well, with Jamie Conway holding pretty much the direct middle of that pack as well.
Yeah, so we've just got to see who's going to be the most optimistic, who's going to make the cleanest overtakes. Lele comes through turn 20 onto the straight, does it cleanly, finds a bit of time, half a second up, so it's going to be good enough for a 205.5 and pole position. Very nice work there. Walsh was not able to answer on that lap. Here's Aaron Lee. He's also found half a second. So this is everyone just getting their tyres into the window. It does take an outlap and a lap, I think, to get the tyres really into a window where they're operating best at a circuit like this.
Yeah, as much as you want to push on that second lap that you come out after the first lap after the outlap, on this track like this, you have to wait for the tyres to be properly warm, or you're just going to be sliding everywhere.
Exactly, and then you kind of lose the opportunity in that second hot lap to do something better. Can come back to you relatively quickly within a lap or two, but you kind of want to just be saving the tyre life as much as possible. Across the line does go Lee, gets a little bit closer, but not close enough at this point. Here's the 213. We saw the big dive from Brent Sykes on McDowell in the previous race, which spun them both around. I believe that was at turn 12. McDowell will be hoping a better qualifying session here will put him further up the grid, maybe a little bit further away from harm's way, but that's hard to say where the accidents will come around the grid because everyone's susceptible to them.
And this track is also very, very great for cars going side by side and then having a collision on a lot of turns. Where we see a few of them at the S's, a few of them at turn 11, turn 12, where are high passing points. Turn 1, obviously, especially at the start of the race, is a great place for a crash. But hopefully everyone can keep it clean, especially for the first lap.
There we go. We've got a commentary team. It's typical things in the commentary box. We go, yeah, it's a great place to have a crash. You know, there's a nice guy called Barry R. He's sitting there just waiting for you. Anywhere through turn 1 to turn 11, just go for it. He's got a cup of tea ready, or a beer maybe. He's ready to welcome you in with arms open. So through turn 19 comes the 213 Porsche. McDowell has found good time. Needs about 0.7 to get up in the pole position, which will become P11. And just under 3/10 there, good enough for P6, so that'll be starting with P17 at the moment. McLean's on a good lap at the moment. Could put him just under half a second away. To the last corner we go for the number 4 Ferrari. Very purple. And 0.8 up, good enough for P7. Nice lap there. A lot of drivers within a very small margin at the moment at the top. We do have an equal lap there. Aaron Lee and Cameron Thistlewaite have both done a 206.022.
That's never happens. It never happens.
Certainly not a circuit like this. You know, the longer the track is, the more likely it is that you're going to have different times, even just by, you know, hundredths of a second. The fact that they've both done the exact same time, that has now changed with Aaron Lee doing a 206.265. Still the best laps at 206.022 by them. So very, very interesting to see. We did see that at Misano as well. We had 3. And of course, it's much more common to see it on a shorter track like Misano. You're getting 134s, I think it was 134 something. And we had 3 cars at one point, all in the same time, which was absolutely fascinating. That certainly never happened. We saw in the top 10 qualifying a couple of cars also getting the same times as well, but fascinating to see. We've got Walsh here. He's on a great lap right now, nearly half a second up on his previous time. And if he gets across the line with that kind of delta, that will be P11 for him.
Very much so, as he's heading into turn 19, moving around the track very quickly. He's losing a bit of his delta, coming around into the final turn, gaining a little bit back on the entrance of the apex there, and that is a pole position for Walsh, unless Lele can also pull off a few tenths.
Oh, it could be very close, but didn't get the power down as effectively as Lele needed to at the end there, so no improvement on that lap. It very nearly was. We've got Kafil Slade here. He's found some time too, but it won't be good enough to get him too far towards the top at this stage. Ignore the invalid lap time there. That's just the old ACC glitch on the timing. And the Ferrari looking pretty strong. Clips the apex though there, and that's going to be costing a little bit. Did find a really good exit. So 7/10 up now, 1.4 seconds behind the pole sitter's time of a 205.4. Still in my mind, I'm thinking we're getting a 204 here, but it hasn't quite happened just yet. Steel Slade coming up towards the last. We will be waiting, yeah. We'll have to wait and see if it happens in the race now, unfortunately. But we'll see if anyone really wants to cook their tires that much in the race. 1 second up. This is a good lap there from Kafil Slade. Puts himself into P15 for race 2. So just bear in mind, we do have a reverse grid top 10 from the results of race 1 coming up. So the race directors will be releasing those top 10 cars. It'll be Ashton Reynolds who leads us away, and Josh Holmes will be in P10. So those cars will be called forward after the session start timer does tick forward, and then Ashton will lead us through the formation lap, and then he will be the one to control the race start. The race start actually happens when Walsh crosses the timing screens, timing line, I should say. So there's something that can catch some drivers out. Still a normal race procedure, but the leader of that qualifying session we've just had will be the one who determines when the race technically does start from a procedural point of view. Another beautiful shot here by Benjamin Ignat, an absolute legend. He's done incredible on the cameras as always, and that is a really, really nice little shot there.
That sunset sky makes this look absolutely amazing, especially these liveries as well. I can't help but admire a lot of these liveries. I did hear that some people were going to try following some F1 type liveries, as we are kind of on a F1 type series. But yeah, I'm just admiring the cars. The nice Nebula one for Jay Sweeney and the Aston, the Goku for the McLaren again. That's a beautiful livery right there.
Yeah, it's really nice work. Stands out, that's for sure, as does the Goku livery. But yeah, no, good work from everyone in Split Blue. Lovely to see the liveries that have been put together. Now, the interesting thing, of course, it is now 8 p.m. out on track, so it is much later in the evening. That's why we've got the sunset coming through. And while the track is still in optimum conditions, it is 17 degrees Celsius ambient and on track, so much cooler. And I'll tell you, it's much more pleasant being out there in these kind of temperatures on nice fresh tires. You feel like you've got infinite grip for the first 25 minutes of the race, and then the last 5 minutes, you can, if you've cooked it a little bit too much, you can find that it runs away from you just that little bit. But much easier to control the tire temps when it's much cooler like this.
As long as people have changed their PSI to match up with the temperature, it should be all good on the track, especially for these first 20 minutes, I'd say. I did notice, especially with the yesterday's splits, and we've already seen tonight, people are dropping off with their traction after the first 20 minutes, and it's very likely to happen now, and it could potentially be a lot worse.
Yeah, exactly right. I thought you were about to say they need to make sure they've changed their tyre cell. I thought you were having a dig at me, but right
That would also help.
It does help. Fresh tyres is a good idea when you go into a new race, so hopefully everyone in the grid has done that and not made the same mistake that I did yesterday night. But yeah, headlights go on, everyone's going to get themselves ready to go, and the top 10 will be asked to come forward in just a moment's time. Yeah, we're seeing some cars make a bit of a mistake. They don't want to be moving just yet. They've got to wait from the bottom 10 to come up in front to simulate the official grid. That's Ashton Reynolds and the Mercedes coming through. There's the number 12 coming through as well. Basically what we saw will be the 10 at the bottom being called out one by one. So the race director right now will be calling their numbers and their positions, and we'll see a second grid being lined up at turn 1, and then they will be the ones to lead us away single file through the formation lap. Oh, that is a shot and a half. Benjamin Hignett, take a bow. Chat, what do you think of that? Green shot right now, that is stunning.
Wow. That's all I can say as well. There's a little bit of a struggle with lining up there as well. If you have a look at that, there's a little bit of a struggle with the lining up in a straight line, but they're figuring it out.
Yeah, racing drivers, we don't understand straight lines. It's just we don't have the ability to understand how something can't go left or right. Today, it's just not within our capabilities. If anything, I'd call that that's just the racing driver's intuition right there. Oh, I just need a parker here. Anywhere will do. Right, so we are now away on our formation lap. Beautiful scenes here at the Americas. Coming up to race 2, another 30 minutes. No mandatory stops in this race either. The key is going to be avoid penalties, avoid getting in trouble in the first couple of laps, and then try and avoid those all awful drive-through penalties from track limits. That's going to be the absolute key. Today, 8 p.m. on track, so much nicer conditions for the drivers to be in.
Very much so. And as they head around on their formation lap, I just want to again admire the view, admire the liveries as they come past, and the camera work done by our camera operator, Benjamin Hignett.
Yes, it's a very top job he is doing, that is for sure. So I'm fascinated to see how this top 10 is going to go. It's always interesting when we have a reverse grid. The one that's like this with Ashton Reynolds now in the lead and Josh Holmes down in P10. So that's going to be Holmes coming through, hopefully for himself, 9 drivers to get to the top spot. If he manages to take home 2 race victories, well, he's done an incredible job there if he does manage to get that. But you know, he's just got to get through this first couple of laps, settle in, and then start finding those overtakes. We know he's got the pace to do it. He's just going to have to make sure he does it cleanly, as the same for McNeil, Brimblecombe, Ellis, Comboy. And Comboy would be quite happy starting up there, I think, because he won't have to be sitting behind the Porsche for the entire race this time. But in a switch up of irony, because he does start P6, it means that Burton, who was stuck behind for a while in race 1, will be starting ahead of him. So going to have to navigate that one too. Did a beautiful move into turn 1 to get past Burton. Might be trying to do the same thing on the start. We're going to go side by side. Any last predictions before we get going, Jaden?
Trent Callahan, one of our rookies coming up from Academy last season. I reckon a track limits DT this race, just because I want to call him out.
Oh, well, there we go. Love that call. Fascinating. Let us know in chat as well. Tell us what your predictions are. Remember, everyone, cross your fingers and toes, touch wood, that we don't have another incident at the beginning of this race. And I think, Jaden, since you're going to call someone out, I'm going to call you out. You can take the race start here and race 2, mate.
Okay, here we go. As we are approaching the final corner. On the final corner now. Coming around with Reynolds in front. We are now going to be taking a minute because it will only start when Walsh reaches the timing line. So we've got a bit of an interesting people trying to get into their positions, make sure they're in the spots. We've got a couple of gaps that are a little bit too large, but we'll see what happens. Here they go. They're getting ready. The race is about to start.
Green light, go, go, go.
And they're going. People moving everywhere. I cannot keep track of who's where. I'm just hoping there's no chaos. Not too much, at least. That's 3 wide. There's a spin. There's multiple cars on the track stopped. Oh, no. That might be a safety car.
Oh, that is a disaster. No. Safety car, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, you were right in saying you didn't know what was going on. I don't think anyone did. Must have been 10 cars caught up in that.
I at least saw 5 spun, and I saw a few more hitting on the sides there. Well, looks like nobody really had a chance to change position except for those who got spun.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone else seems to be pretty much rank and file, don't they? Let's have a little look at the replay, see what's happened here. There's Brimblecombe in the background. Burton's trying. Oh, Burton's got touched there by Brimblecombe, and he's sideways as the passenger. 113's involved in it. Lele's involved in it as well. Aaron Lee does manage to get through, luckily. Oh man, that's massive. So it looks like the touch on the rear end of Burton's car by Brimblecombe that kicked off some of that, unfortunately. I
don't think I should have said we need to have a clean start for T1.
Hey, welcome to the ranks of commentating, Jaden. I don't think we would class that as commentators, guys. It's turn 1 uphill. Here's Burton's point of view. Let's see, he got pushed wide by Brenner Ellis, and then suddenly, yeah, he's been flipped sideways, isn't he? Just immediately.
It was just a chain reaction after that.
Ah, it's horrible to see. Yeah, well, it's happened yet again, ladies and gentlemen. And safety car will be in at the end of this lap, so Ashton will lead us away. Luckily for him, he has gotten away cleanly, as has Callahan. And Sweeney's still up there as well. JC, of course, has moved up in the P4 ahead of Ashley Johnson, so that was an early move there. I think there was an issue as well on the race start for Ashley Johnson. He suddenly backed out of the throttle before turn 20, then had to catch back up to get into his grid box, and he managed to do that just in time. But there's a little bit of a moment there for Ashley, not quite sure exactly what went on. Crikey, what a race start, and I guess lucky for you, Jaden, because you get to do another race start here.
Oh no, not again. We also have seen Chris Murphy and was that McLaughlin has also moved up into the top 10. And Walsh now all the way back at 29th. Slade has also made it into the top 10 as well, so a few people have benefited definitely from that turn 1 chaos.
Yep, that's exactly it, and some will benefit, some will have been massively disadvantaged, unfortunately. We shall see. Here we go again. Let's have a good safety car restart here. Split blue in race 2. Please, please, please.
That's what we can hope for. And we will be taken away whenever Ashton Reynolds does get us going.
And he's gone.
And we are started. Yeah, there we go. And already a huge lead on Trent. Jamie Conboy trying to make the pass on Jay Sweeney right now, coming into turn 1, and it looks like he will do it. But it also is dependent on who gets a better exit. It looks like Sweeney did, but you can't beat the acceleration of that GTR, especially not in the Aston.
That's right. run a little bit wide, but he's pulled it back onto the racing line nicely. Ashley Johnson's in the tow of Sweeney as well. Those two being switched around as well in this reverse top 10 grid. Brenno Ellis is trying to get back up as well. So Brenno, oh no, Brenno's gone and tagged the end of Johnson's car and sent them both around.
That is not something we'll see straight after a restart.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the number 12 has maybe had a problem as well. We shall see if the timing screen updates. I think it might do. Ashley's just obviously lost a couple of positions there too. Brent Sykes is now trying up the inside. McDowell, oh, there's been a touch between them. Oh, Blue, we've got to get this under control. But nonetheless, we will continue. Lots of side-by-side happening here. I did see, I think it was Holmes, he's making a move up the grid as well. Things will start to realign themselves in short order. Actually, Holmes looks like he's lost the position there.
I'm just trying to figure out, because a lot of people are moving spots right now.
Exactly right. Yeah, the timing screen's not updating, of course, until the sector line is reached. And we're keeping an eye. Here's a couple of Porsches battling. Aaron Lee will try and set up the inside on the 64 car. Doesn't manage to do so, and actually has Brimblecombe run to the back of him. This has not been a good start for Brimblecombe. He's got Joshua all over the back of him now. It's a battle for P10 at the moment, so it does look like in the chaos that was the first couple of laps and the safety car, Holmes did lose a position. He's now moved back up into the top 10. He'll be starting his chase after Aaron Lee. So that is going to be Kafil Slade there from Chris Murphy, P6-7, then McLaughlin P8, P9 Aaron Lee, P10 Holmes, and then Brimblecombe in P11 with Ashley Johnston now down in P12 because of the coming together between him and Brenno Ellis. And Ellis is well down the order now as a result of that, because he was properly spun out. I don't even know where he is. He's P28 at the moment.
Oh, a little bit behind because of that. Oh, we've got a replay. Oh,
no.
big pump.
Right, so it's gone from bad to worse for Brenno Ellis, and of no fault of his own, he's been hit on the side, T-boned essentially a couple of times by the McLaren behind him.
Yeah, not the position you want to be, and then having more cars coming up very quickly behind is a very scary situation.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And really unfortunate. Another replay here of the 17 car, and he's then tagged to 33. Oh my goodness. It is all chaos from P15 downwards. And another yellow flag on track as we return to live pictures once again. That's Stratford in a bit of problems at the end of the S section. Now Aaron Lee in the 62 car. Will he make a move? Yes, he will. It's going to be on the Porsche of McLaughlin. GTR power taking him down the straight very nicely, but under brakes. Porsche's definitely got the advantage and gets a good exit too. So McLaughlin takes the P8 position away from Aaron Lee once again. They're going to have to start worrying about who's behind them though, because that is Joshua Holmes right there, and he will be eager to make a move while these two are fighting.
Just an update on my little cursor I put out. Track Callahan's already on 3 track limits, and we are 7 minutes into the race.
Wow, you called them out, and he's gone and fulfilled your request. So, oh no, another tap there. That is unbelievable, folks. It's unbelievable. It's happened yet again. It's the same McLaren that is being caught up in all of this. That'll be a track limit warning there. Oh no, that shouldn't be. It's the turn 20 exit. Holmes will be. Oh, I think he's got the position. Lamborghini power, but the GTR is going to have him on the straight still. So he's still in the battle. Brimblecombe's now beside him on the outside line, heading into turn 1 yet again. Holmes is going to have to defend here a little bit. Is that late braking Ferrari using its downshift to maximum effect, and contact again.
Oh, someone else
Oh, my
spun there at
goodness.
the very end there.
I am starting to run out of words here, Jaden, because we have seen, this has been, we are 8 minutes into this race, and I cannot even count how many incidents we have seen.
I believe we'll be getting a huge influx of penalties for you to read out soon.
I think you are right, yeah, and I get the feeling that the stewards are not going to be particularly happy with Split Blue on this second race. There's been chaos all over the place. Yeah, comment in chat, Split Derby, yeah, I'd say that's probably fair. It looks like there was a little bit of a tagging there by Holmes on Brimblecombe, but Brimblecombe is still very deep, and that is McLaren trying to take avoiding action, does so while compromising their exit just that little bit. Back to live pictures once again. Austin McNeil going to be looking to make a move on the number 12. Yeah, more comments and chats. Oh no, it's happened. Oh. See, the thing is here, Jane, usually we'd be blamed here as commentators. There's a big commentators curse. We're saying nice things about people. I don't think we've said a single thing nice about anyone yet in this second race. During the period of this second race so far, they're all just creating the chaos themselves at the moment out on track. But it's just been too optimistic, too opportunistic, and too ambitious here. And people are just making mistakes all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think we've really had a chance to focus on any one person at any point. We are seeing way too much chaos as we're looking right now. Both guys are getting Hulk Hogan and Mustang battling it out with the McLaren behind him with distance away. We've also got Jamie Conboy up at the front, slowly catching up to Reynolds. And we've seen Trent drop quite a few positions, Callahan drop quite a few positions, especially after that little incident there.
Yeah, exactly it. Jamie Conboy actually did a 2:05.2 that last lap, so that was apparently faster than the fastest lap, but the fastest lap going with Holmes at the moment at 2:06.060 now. Was a 2:06.1 just a moment ago. And yes, I do have permission to use the soundboard in here, but I feel that might be in bad taste to play the DJ Khaled and another one sound clip at this point. At the moment we've just got to buckle up and buckle in and see what happens and hope that everyone will just calm down, cool down just a little bit. So as the temperature, that's a track cut, as the temperature has gone down here, yeah, split blue, the temperature of the drivers seems to have gone up in complete polar opposite to what we saw in race 1. Whoa, big slide for Brett Sykes. And even if he loses the position, maximum points for style at turn 9.
We are seeing a lot of penalties appear. Yep, the commentator's curse has worked at least once. My bad, my rookie buddy. But a lot of penalties seem to be coming through. We got Holmes with a 10-second penalty and a 15-second penalty for Bull.
Okay, Brent Sykes trying to make the move on McDowell. They're side by side down the straight, but Ford Power is going to send them way past the Porsche. And now, but couldn't get it stopped, and he's gone into the side, taken out the number 12 car, and it's, and another one. I might as well just start saying it, Jaden.
I believe that was the same turn 2 times in a row, by the way, for that that McLaren of Callahan getting taken out on the same turn, pretty much exact same way.
Yeah, exactly right, and he's got a drive through just to top it all off. And, so through his fault of his own, as well as not through his own fault, he's had a real shocker so far. Question in chat, are we winning? Yeah, I think no, we're not. No, this is no, we're not. This has been a shocker of a race so far, unfortunately. I don't like having to say that on a commentary box at all. Love to see good racing, and generally speaking, the racing is always very, very good. We saw race 1, got off to a pretty poor start, ended up being a fantastic race. Lots of overtakes, lots of moves, side by side, fair, respectful driving, but here today in second race for Split Blue, it's been really all over the place. A big dive there from the McLaren behind. Rimblecombe still trying to hold on, did get past McDowell. Now he's going to have to go up to Brent Sykes. This is the battle for P10 we're watching on your screens right now. Had nothing else to talk about but the incidents. We've tried talking about the racing, but the racing seems to end in incidents at the moment. 17 minutes 43 to go, still 17 degrees Celsius out there. If you enjoy watching this kind of stuff, then I'm not quite sure what to say to you.
Camera 2 in the bottom right also showing the current battle for lead, which still has a half-a-second gap between Jamie Conboy and Reynolds, with Jamie Conboy currently holding the fastest time on the track. But yes, as the people in the comments are saying, we being the viewer, yes, the viewers are currently winning.
I suppose so, yeah. Although I have to admit, being a viewer, what I'd like to see is good racing, and we've yet to see significant amounts of that at the moment on track. Nonetheless, this battle is starting to brew up. So this is exciting. This is what we want to see. It's the battle for P1. Ashton Reynolds currently leading us away in that lovely livery Mercedes AMG. Love the green in there as well. Lovely little highlight. JC with that fastest lap at 2:05.192. Jaden, that means that 2:04 is actually possible today.
I look, if I get a 2:04 in this race, I will be the happiest person in this commentary box right now.
Absolutely, you will be, and you will have made a true prophecy that has turned out to be false rather than a prediction, as Murray Walker would say. There are more penalties coming on through. That's Brimblecombe there getting a penalty. Number 17's also got 15 seconds too. I suspect this is first of a lot of penalties coming through. Aaron Lee has picked up a drive through. Penalty Brimblecombe on the inside into the final corner. Brent Sykes is aware. Does move off the apex, and Brimblecombe will go on through, but he's going to have a fast Ford Mustang behind him. McDowell wants to get involved in this. Lele is coming through too, has just made a move past the McLaren of Cameron Thistlewaite, and they've got Horsburgh in behind as well. Porsche's trying around the outside, doesn't work this time out, but he'll have another go. Single file once again in through the S's.
This is the type of racing that we've wanted to see all race, and we're getting it into the last 15 minutes of, well, the next 15 minutes of the race. We're hoping for it to be cleaner. We know that people will be losing their traction, so it will become sorry, harder to hold their position on the track. But yeah, no, this is getting exciting.
Certainly is, yeah. So this is the kind of cooling off we need to see from the drivers, and I'm sure the stewards will be having a chat with them post-race as well. Brimblecombe, 15-second penalty. Holmes with a 10-second. McDowell with a 10-second now as well. Breno Ellis being hit with a 15-second penalty. Again, penalties still rolling in from the stewards box, and they've got a lot of footage to review now in this race. Drive-through has been cleared by Aaron Lee. We are now halfway through this race, and Brent Sykes still holding on, and if he's finished within 15 seconds of Brimblecombe, that'll be a top 10 finish for Brent Sykes. So he'll be looking to pull that proverbial cat out of his hat, so to speak. Nonetheless, we focus in on the 117 versus the 28 at the top. What's still going on? I don't blame Ben for jumping between the two battles, because it's both close, both at the bottom of the top 10 and the top of the top 10. JC setting lap after lap in the low 205s and showing really good pace in that Nissan. I'm not quite sure how the Mercedes would compare to this, but not a track the Mercedes is particularly suited to. Brent Sykes going very deep there, unfortunately, and that is going to mean that he loses that position. He's still within the 15 seconds of Brimblecombe. That means McDowell now leads up the pack from P11.
I do believe that the apex was missed on that turn, just a little bit.
By some margin, yeah. Oh, big slide there for JC. He's pushing this GTR as hard as he can right now.
He was really trying to make that gap between him and Jay Sweeney, who's currently 3 seconds behind, and then Mick Neal being 4 seconds behind Jay Sweeney. So the top three are currently have got a decent sized gap. This is the type of gap that Holmes was holding against second place pretty much the whole of last race. And we've got another replay of, but that is a Holmes down the straight.
That is Joshua Holmes right there, and it's a nice clean overtake on the 64 car by him. We just saw JC on the exit of turn 9 struggling to get the power down. The car went sideways. I think he just avoided the track penalty there, but he might have had a track penalty, track limit warning, I should say. I don't know why I can't say those 3 words in a row, but apparently that is a failing of mine. But nonetheless, I think that might have been a track warning there for JC at the top, still pushing hard. Now McDowell's going to be defending from Lele. The German, I think it's a German flag, sort of pasted across the Aston Martin, isn't it? That, or it's another country that I'm pretty bad with flags. Lele is going to go for a move, nearly goes into the side of McDowell, wants to squeeze him as much as possible, widen up that corner, and maximize the overtake, and does do it nicely. So good overtake there from the number 8.
Clean overtake, way better than the start of race 1, which I don't think we really want to go back to.
Oh, JC's got a drive through. JC, mate. No. Oh, I knew that he was a little bit over the limit at one of those, but he looks like he's got another one, and he's in the pits now. He's going for his drive through, and he might just come out in the top 10, but I'm not sure. Brent Sykes trying to make a maneuver here on Cameron Thistlewaite. Wow. Switchback attempt at turn 19. That was confident. Doesn't work out though for the 454. He's all over the back of that McLaren, and Thistlewaite and McLaren's will be suffering even in these cooler temperatures. There we go. Dunke said it's the Sebastian Vettel style liveries, so it isn't that the German flag. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that for clearing up that little confusion I've had. Oh, that's very close with the Ford and the McLaren in behind. That is Horsburgh versus Monks, and Monks has tried to send it, hasn't worked out, and Horsburgh will continue to hold the position. Still trying to put a bunch of pressure on Brent Sykes ahead. He's got a lot to worry about right behind him in the number 81 car.
And look at that, JC has come out in 16th position, so lost quite a few places there from that drive through. We'll see how well he can make up some time, but I do believe that he now has lost.
A few very funny comments in chat as well. Thank you everyone for your comments so far on the stream. Split Blue providing all the drama that you wanted an entire evening of viewership. Here's Ashley Johnston making a move on McLaughlin, and he'll get that done as easy as you like. I think, is that actually for position? I think it is. Yes, I think it is, because Ashley Johnston just moved up into the P7 position there. Saw a blue flag in the background. Didn't know quite who that was for. McDowell taking a very interesting line, holding onto the marbles. Not quite sure what's happened there, but he has decided to completely back out of this battle.
That is an interesting tactic. I'm wondering if there might have been a little bit of hardware failure or possibly something going on that they've managed to solve now. But it has gained a few people a couple of positions, it seems.
Yep, Thistlewaite will go up in the P11, and with Brimblecomb's penalty, that's still in range of a top 10 finish for Cameron Thistlewaite, which we'll be happy for, I'm sure. Lele, of course, ahead by a couple of seconds now. And so it's going to be a P9 for Lele as it stands right now. We've just taken underneath 10 minutes remaining. But that's a drive-through for McDowell's, and maybe that's why. Maybe he knew that was coming his way, and he's backed out as a result of it. He's coming to the pits immediately, so yeah, didn't want to be holding anyone up in that battle, so that's actually a pretty good bit of racecraft there from him. Certainly, it's definitely a very sportsmanship gesture, a sportsmanlike gesture, I should say. Jamie Conroy has made it back up in the P14 at the moment. But Ashton Reynolds, he's started at the front, and he continues to hold on to the front. Sweeney's not really gaining on him, and McNeil also not gaining on Sweeney either. So Ashton Reynolds, I mean, the 28 car, he was under all sorts of pressure from JC, and that could have been a race win for JC, but it's just gone the other direction. He's pushed the GTR just that little bit too hard, and the drive-through has come his way for track limits. What a shame. What a shame.
Very, very upsetting, I imagine, for him, and his goals of not getting a penalty this season have not been too good, but hopefully he can hold it well for the rest of the season. Sweeney holding in for seconds at the moment, 3 seconds behind, with McNeil following, just waiting to see how far behind, because it's not coming up yet. 5 seconds behind Jay Sweeney, so we do have a bit of a gap between the top 3, meaning that there probably won't be much big racing in the last 8 minutes between those 3.
Yeah, a person of note right now, Kafil Slade has made it up 10 positions, started P14, and is now finding himself in P4. So it has been a good day out. There's some out there at the moment in the Koala Motorsports 560, with a Japanese flag flying next to his name, Kafil Slade, and very nice guy to chat to in the community school as well. P4 at the moment. He's not a massive gap back to Chris Murphy, though. So Chris Murphy will be looking to make his move at some point. Ferrari's going at it with the Audi of Dharma. Reed's going to be involved in that too, so we'll see if a rare sight here. Audi's on screen.
Yeah, Audi's making it up into the top somewhat area.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think for those who drive the Audi, they love it, right? I think that's why you get the car to love the car. And it does make quite an incredible sound.
It does. I actually really do enjoy the sounds of the Audis as well as the GTRs, which I think some people don't agree with. But I'm a fan of the high pitch cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Audi certainly fits that categorization, that is for sure. So Monk's here trying to make his way past the Hulk Hogan liveried 454. That is a very wide Cameron Thistlewaite on turn 1. Just run over the ruts and launched his car right off the side of the track. Hasn't really lost a lot of time as a result of it. Breno Ellis penalties now list up to 25 seconds. Spence 15 seconds. Brimblecombe now 30 seconds of penalties. So that is going to put him very, very far down the grid at the end of this race with 7 minutes now to go. So we've got about 4 laps remaining in this race, judging, I think probably including this one, now that I think about it. It's just coming down 10, 11, 10, 12 straight. Looking at Breno Ellis here, number 17, in 17th place.
Love when the numbers match up.
happen. Mercedes going to look there on Horsburgh. Nothing to come of it at this stage, and that's Spence. He was number 420 car, was caught up in all sorts of action. A lot of the earlier incidents, not a majority, but certainly quite a few of them caused by 420 today, and he's got a penalty to his name too. A lot of red badges on the sides of the cars here, and a lot of those numbers are pretty significant as well. Chris Murphy in P5 now hunting down Kafil Slade, only 0.7 the gap, but he's got Holmes behind him with a 10-second penalty, albeit closing in rapidly. And I mean, if there wasn't a penalty to his name, Holmes to be a top 5 finish would be a fantastic way. A P1 and a P5 would be great, but unfortunately for him, not looking quite likely that that's going to happen. Breno Ellis, whoa, that is a close one, Jaden.
That was very close and good evasive action by Ellis there. That could have ended up very badly. And we're back on to Chris Murphy, who did come from out of the top 10 as well, and is now just behind Kafil Slade with that 5th position. So this is a great race for him as well. Holmes with the 10-second penalty, I'm not sure how far back that will put him, but I believe he'll still be in the top 10 if he can keep.
Got a few who've dropped even further down the grid, unfortunately, the likes of Aaron Lee and Alex Walsh. Aaron Lee, of course, with the drive-through penalty, and Walsh just got all caught up in the action. The number 12 has been given a penalty for causing a collision, so as well as a drive-through, it looks like. So another big slap on the wrist from the number 12. You make some pretty strong commentary curses there, Jaden, I have to admit.
I will avoid calling anybody out anymore if I can avoid it. But let's hope Josh Holmes has a great race.
Yes, you've been spawned in the commentary box with level 9,000 powers. Well done. Congratulations, sir. You need to retain that skill going forward. I'm sure it will provide plenty of entertainment. The number 4 also picking up 10 seconds of penalties. Holmes just trying to make his way through on Kafil Slade now, and Murphy's right in this. So he's lost the position, of course, has Chris Murphy to Holmes, but Holmes has got that penalty to his name, as does Austin McNeil. The number 72 Lamborghini in P3, currently 15 seconds to his name. So right now, Kafil Slade is actually in the top 3. He's on for a 3rd position, a podium finish in this race, but he's got to hold on against Chris Murphy. That's who he's racing right now. Doesn't matter if he gets passed by Holmes or not. In fact, if anything, he'll want to make sure that that is a clean overtake for Holmes, so he doesn't lose any time in the battle. We've also had a couple of comments in chat. Thank you for all of that, and thank you for the comment there. Commentary is fantastic, guys, so thank you very much to Dre's Box.
We do appreciate that. I do imagine that Slade might want to also keep Holmes behind him, because it could be used as a blocker against Chris Murphy at this point, because Slade will be looking for any kind of way. And we're looking at the replay. I believe this is from turn 1 at the very start of the race, where the chaos just went. It is horrible to look at every time.
No, I thought I got over it, but no, it was just a disaster. I'm sure the stewards and the race directors will have a lot to say to Split Blue after this session is complete. It will be a little bit of a dad moment, I suspect.
Yeah, I know Yellow received a little bit of a dad moment last night, so I'd expect some sort of similar treatment tonight for Blue.
Certainly will be the case. The number 5, that's Reed, has picked up a drive-through as well. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, and the red penalty box on the side of the timing tower is absolutely full. It's chocker, and you hate to see it. And but we've had I think in the second half of this race, Jaden, I think you'll agree, we've seen a lot of very good racing. I think it shows us what Split Blue is capable of. They're entirely capable of clean, fair, and respectful racing, as we know that they are.
I mean, we saw that even in the first race, they had it really respectful. I think just at the start of this race, everyone was trying to push just that little bit too hard and overextended and overreached. And as you can see, it caused a bit of problems on the track.
Yeah, I love the Super Sprint Series, the 2 30-minute races, and I think it's a great format. But my one gripe with the format is that I think it does lead to people maybe being a bit more opportunistic than they need to be. Because, you know, the shorter time, it's more critical to make the overtakes when you can. So a few more opportunities, valid or not, being taken. And I think it does create a bit of pressure on them. But nonetheless, it's still a fantastic format, I think. And to have this plus a 60 and 75 and 90-minute format in this season 18, I think is absolutely brilliant. I'm really looking forward to That's very wide for Chris Murphy. Not going to help his cause here because we are now on the final lap of this race. And the gap between Ashton Reynolds in P1 and Sweeney in P2 has come down 2.5 seconds, down from about 4, I think it was, for quite some time. This is the real battle right here. Kafil Slade is on to take a 3rd position overall in race 2. He doesn't need to worry about Holmes. You made a fair point there, of course, Jaden, about using Holmes as a bit of a blocker. But with Chris Murphy now dropping off the back of him, I don't think he needs to worry too much either way.
I wouldn't be surprised if at any point now, unless he wants to try race, he might just let Holmes just go past. There's really no point trying to race him. He's got the gap between McNeil quite easily, and as long as he holds down this, it should be a pretty easy 3rd position for Slade.
Should be. I think Holmes will get him here because he's going to have the overlap, and will Kafil fight it? No, he doesn't. He's quite happy to let him go past, but oh, well, maybe not so happy. He was expecting the Lamborghini to get through the apex just a little bit faster. Tried to turn in and get behind the rear wing to get a good acceleration off the apex. Didn't quite happen, but they'll have a bit of slipstream, quite a bit of slipstream. Chris Murphy's not going to get as much. He's 1.3 seconds behind. But it is the last lap, so yeah, Kafil Slade just needs to hold on at this stage. That's all he needs to do. If he can do that, he's still within range of McNeil's 15-second penalty, and so that means McNeil will not be getting P3. Brimblecombe with a move on McLaughlin, that'll put him up into P9 now, or P8, sorry. But he's got 30 seconds of penalty, so that means that McLaughlin is set for a P8 finish at the moment. Joshua Holmes has done really, really well in race 1, just got involved in a little bit too much scrapping in race 2, and now we focus on the race winner, because from the start of the race, from green flag to checkered flag, it has been Ashton Reynolds, whose biggest competitor in this was JC, until he got a drive-through penalty, which was really unfortunate. JC still might actually get a top 10 finish here, might just scrape one in, but was Sweeney in P2. Congratulations to the silver class driver there, the number 48. Well done. McNeil technically P3, Holmes technically P4, but it will be Kafil Slade across the line, and he'll be on the podium because of the penalties ahead of him. Then it's Chris Murphy, Ashley Johnston, Brimblecombe, McLaughlin, Lele, and Thistlewaite. Brimblecombe, of course, with 30 seconds of penalty. Not ideal there. JC across the line with style, as we do expect. P12 for him, and fastest lap. Real commiserations to him with the drive-through, but yeah, it is just one of those things at the end of the day. In fact, big commiserations to a lot around the grid who, for no reason, not their fault at all, have had a shocker of a race 2. And for those that have had incidents in Split Blue, well, you can expect that dad chat to begin pretty soon in the race director comms, I suspect.
Those last 15 minutes were great to see. Like, the driving definitely improved, especially from the first 15 minutes of that race. So, yeah, that chat is probably going to be a very stern one. It is expected from drivers who are in these sprint series to be somewhat capable of racing around each other without absolutely killing everybody.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, you know, it's the basic expectations of racecraft in not only Octane Online Racing, but in all sim racing. And unfortunately, those standards, I would argue, have not been met this race at all. The first few laps were, I mean, to have commentators speechless in the commentary box and not able to give compliments is not a good feeling. So not a race to remember for a lot of people out there, or us, I suspect, but for those that those who got penalties, definitely one to remember and to learn from. That's the important thing. Make sure that you do not make another mistake, because these things do sometimes happen, and sometimes you just need to take a little look, have a little bit of introspection, and learn from it. That is the way things go. But that will conclude your Split Blue coverage, the opening part of the season. 8 rounds of racing total. We've just gone through the first of the Circuit of the Americas. Next time we'll be heading over to Barcelona. And now we get to go through the results very briefly here. So Holmes, of course, in race 1 does take out pole position there. McNeil and Brimblecombe. We'll go to silver class now, and that'll be McNeil from Brimblecombe from Ellis, the top 3. Over in Pro-Am, it is Burton from Callahan from Curtis, the top 3. And then in Am class, Jay Williams from Kung from Stratford. And we'll take a look at race 2. I think that's qualifying 2. Race 2, there we go. Ashton Reynolds, of course, did finish P10. Finishes on top there for pro category, so technically him, then Slade, then Murphy. Over in silver category, we've got Sweeney from Johnson from McNeil. Then in the Pro-Am category, our winner McLaughlin from Lele from Monk, and then of course in AM class we do have Williams, Stratford and Kung. A slight switch up to the AM finishing order there, so Williams will be absolutely stoked with that one today. Nonetheless, so lots to learn from for Split Blue this time out, but nonetheless, overall, I think we still saw a lot of good racing from them. Just need to see that as the thing that we see the most of. The significant part of the round needs to be the good racing that we did see, and we are sure that they'll return at Barcelona, ready to go, full respect, full fair play, and give us some really good racing to watch and commentate on. Speaking of that, Jaden, well done, mate. I know this is the first time in the Sprint Series commentary box for you. Done a fantastic job, so thank you very much for being here for Split Blue.
Thank you very much for having me, and I believe we will be passing it off sometime now.
Yes, we will be. So we do have, of course, Split Red now starting to happen, so we will switch over to that in short order because we do have a short run time. So without further ado, we're going to hand it over to Sean Muller, Jamie Conboy and Tom Maloney. Sean, mate, when are we going to be in the comm box again, mate?
It's very soon, I hope, very soon.
Exactly right. Big thanks to Jaden and Ben, and we'll catch you next time for Split Blue. Handing over now to Split Red. Have a great race, guys.
Have a great race.
Thank you very much there, Cookie, and great job, Jade, as well. Yeah, this is Split Red. So round 1 of 8 in the Asia Pacific region of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs.com Sprint Series. As everyone knows, I am Sean Muller, and introducing the one and only Tom Maloney. Top of the evening, sir.
Top of the evening to you as well, Sean. Great to have you back in the Sprints Combox after a well-deserved break for the last season. And yeah, really excited to see what Split Red's got in store after a bit of a messy Split Blue. Looking forward to seeing what some of the best can do around COTA for the next couple of minutes. And we also welcome into the box Jamie Conboy, who's
lining up,
snuck in
double file.
As we're lining up
also
for...
welcoming the one and only Jamie Conboy. Good evening.
Well, you're both talking to me. I don't know who's... Look, you're both welcomed me in, and here I am, ready for the start of race 1 at Split Red. Let's not talk about my race. Just please, someone get this race off and going for me while I settle in.
Good thing is, it's literally just about to start. So just to distract yourself, you can take us for the first lap, I think.
No, what are we doing? Okay, I'm ready. It's a great call. Get my mind off of things. I appreciate that. First and foremost, my apologies. Got to be a little bit quiet tonight as the missus tries to get to sleep. But let's go. Race 1, Split Red, OCE, AP, SRO Asia. That's an AVR car up the front there. Hello, who's that? Oh, Zach Smith, of course. Oh my God, what a split. I've missed this. Let's go. I've got to try and keep a lid on it. Okay, Cooley on pole. Did he do an 03? Probably not. Fast track. Cooley on the inside, Smith on the outside with Keys, Samuel, the two Senecas locking out the third row. Oh my God, Split Red. Let's go. Here we go. Looks like optimum conditions. And
Green light, go, go, go.
green flag. Off they go. Cooley with a pretty handy start. The Aston's spooling up nicely, and there's Bentley going to fire it up the inside there. It's one of the Senecas, obviously the Peach variety, and giving Smithy a little tap there. I reckon. No, that's not Smithy. Someone got a little tap there on the inside from Peach, and then back here there is a little bit of drama, but not too bad. Probably not safety car worthy. Cooley has got a significantly better start than most of the other cars, and he's pour off into the distance a little bit. Corey Sweet also facing the right way in the Ford this season. Corey Sweet, that's a good idea. Nice work, like seeing that. Usually in the BMW is Corey, but he's brought out the OP Ford. Like it. It's a very strong car, especially here on that straight. It's impossible to pass, so hopefully a good night for Corey Sweet ahead. Angelo Gonzalez also in the top 10. Yeah, nice. Okay. And Citrera, his teammate. And Ramesh Samuel, good to see Shady's brother back, sitting in 10th at the moment.
Oh!
Through the hairpin. That's a bit of drama. That is an LOR car involved.
Very sweet.
Oh, that's very deep. Who is that one? That's going to be a pen for whoever the bloody hell what it was, because that's not how you take the hairpin. It's not how you overtake. Try that again.
Yeah, nice and clean for Chris Cooley. He'd be very happy with that. Zach Smith did get a little bit tangled up at the start, but he's managed to get away pretty cleanly now. He's saved up P2, and that is the Mercedes. That is the two LOR cars coming to blows at the end of the back straight. And we will wait to sort of see what the race director thinks about that, if there needs to be a safety car. But Chris Keeley still maintains P1. He's got Zach Smith hunting down in P2, and I think that's Shady Samuel in P3. So that is, we're not safety car, that is a car into the back of another one. So we're all still racing. This is a messy corner at the best of times, but lap 1, it can be pretty rough, and everyone's still moving, which is good to see, but bit of mess to clean up. And the two Sonicus boys, P5 and P6, they'll be having to think about what's the best way to do this. Is John the fast driver? Is JP the faster driver? But they are hunting down Lucas Keys in P4, last season's split red champion.
Looking good, Lucas, in the Lexus. So he's gone for the total meme car there. And we've got John Sonicus in the Mustang, and then JP in his beloved Bentley with that beautiful JPS style livery. We've got a replay here of the opening turn. Let's see if we can pick out.
Lucas went a bit deep into Zach Smith, I think.
So we'll see if that comes with an invoice. Back to live action now. JP just working on the back of John here. Probably not looking to make a move as of yet, just to see where he's strong, where he's weak. And then we might see a bit of brother on brother action. That came out wrong. You know what I mean?
Knowing them, it's probably on the menu, to be honest, but...
Yeah.
But I'm actually really looking forward to it. Not to pick favourites, but I think Page's track record suggests that he's slightly quicker than John. But I think we all know that the Ford is slightly quicker than the Bentley. So it should actually make them a really good watch this season. Is getting John in a very strong car, and Page still trying to carry that boat around. It should make a pretty good battle this season. And Zachary Smith all over the back. Giving Keggles a little touch there. The Lambo getting a very nice run out of the corner. Of course, the Aston having to wait for that turbo to spool up, just not quite getting the punch. So Cooley, luckily, only dropping 2 positions there, and it's not hurt his race too badly, but you would suggest that Smithy's probably looking at a little invoice on the way.
Absolutely, and Shady Samuel sneaks through into P2, and given the probable little invoice that Smithy's getting, a net P1 when you're starting P4 is not a bad way to start the second lap around the circuit of the Americas. But we'll watch and see what happened here. Houston's just sort of gone in a little bit slower and a little bit deeper, and Zach Smith taking the optimal line, not really with enough room to bring that Lambo down to speed, and just one of those things that happens at really slow corners, unfortunately.
Riding on board here with Cooley at the moment. It's got Lucas Keys right behind him, and the 2 Sonic guys. 25 minutes have ticked over. God, I could look at this thing all day. Just looks magnificent. Can't wait to see this in the sunset.
Both Sonici in very, very good liveries. Usually one of them has a bit of a meme going on, but John in the Alpha Tauri liveried Mustang, and JP in the JPS homaged with a bit of a South African flag on that back quarter panel as well. That is spectacular work by Mr. Pete Viney.
They're actually professional looking liveries. What's going on with these two?
Sometimes they get their shit together.
Yes.
Just sometimes. But looking down the field, Carl Johnson P8, that is a very good result, leading the silver class at the moment. We've got Scott Rochford leading the Pro-Am class with Pete Chalmers in hot pursuit, and Sam O'Brien in P14 leading the AM class. Obviously these classes still a little bit fluid at the start of the season, but good to see there's already a bit of a distinction between some drivers, and that, you know, there's some good results to be had. That is a Bentley steaming up the inside of the back straight and backs out of it. Some slow moving cars there. Mitchell Bendyke in his typically well liveried Lamborghini sticks himself on the inside. Herman's Hot Boys.
I don't know how he's done it, but he's actually made it worse. That is a skill and a half.
I think he's gone for just the blocks of colour. Usually there's sort of little flecks of just awful colours, but this is just sort of blocks of rubbish, and it just looks bad from all angles. So he's hunting down Rob Brickley in the lead GTR for Split Red. and that is a little gaggle of cars there as we wait to sort of see. We're on lap 4 now. What have the stewards got to say for some of that stuff on lap 1? Chris Cooley still running around in P3, a little bit of rear damage after that tap. Just keeping tabs on Shady Sammy, but Lucas Keys in that Lexus, keeping him honest as well. Be interesting to sort of see how does Cooley approach the rest of this race with that little bit of damage. Does he gun for a P2? Or does he settle for what is now just a P3 and just see if he can make it to the end of the race? That Aston looking very, very good in the first sector, making up a lot of time on Shady. But Mustang's going to do Mustang things here and just drive away, I think.
Yep. The Mustang's actually a bit of a joke on the straight, so let's be honest. All you got to do is keep it neat and tidy through the twisty stuff, and you're just not going to pass the thing. It's an absolute rocket ship. But the Lexus is no slouch in a straight line either, so that's a great camera shot if you get run over.
Benjamin Hignett is so bloody good on the cameras. It's unreal how good this man is.
He's doing a good job, isn't he?
Amazing job. Is that Scotty Rochford in a McLaren?
He is in a McLaren.
Wow.
He's been in a McLaren for a few seasons. This is his main car now. Don't worry about the Lando. The Lando's in the He's a McLaren main now. He's had a very good season last season. And here he is again. He's pushing for the top 10 up here with Pudley. He's doing very well.
Pudley's
sounds like a proud father.
I absolutely am. It's like you in a Porsche, mate. As when he started in the McLaren, I was like, oh, yeah, we'll see how this goes, whether he sticks it out like Rob Maddox and punches his passport and buggers off somewhere else. But no, he's stuck it out, and he's absolutely loving it, and he's very quick now.
Pete Chalmers actually made a move on Scott for the lead of that Pro-Am class, so we'll keep an eye on that battle because those two are very similar paced and very good friends as well, so I'm sure that battle will be very interesting. Chris Cooley here starting to pile some pressure on Shady Samuel for P2. So, chat, who's your bets on for the reverse grid pole? So P10 obviously gets the reverse grid pole for the next race. Currently, that's Brad Palmer in the Porsche, the number 21 Porsche. But has anyone got any bets for something a bit left of field there? Anyone to make a bit of a climb up, or do you reckon that's pretty settled?
Oh, I think it's pretty settled there. Considering the gap between Palmer and Chalmers is 3.6 seconds. Unless Palmer wants to make a move on Bartlett, that could maybe potentially put Bartlett on pole, but I reckon it's pretty settled there. So it is Johnson leading the way in silver class. So as we can see here, all the classes are pretty well split, which is great to see. There might not be a lot of shuffling around this season.
The other thing that anyone in the top 10 could do is go for the esteemed Benjamin Hignett strategy of getting a penalty and getting themselves into 10th place.
Oh no. Drive-by for the cameraman. What are we doing?
Nah, he knows. He's fine. He's fine. It was pretty funny. It was.
There's Kulik. Really close up the back of Shady here. Time to really put the pressure on the apply the blowtorch. But what that's allowing is Lucas Keys behind and Johnson needs to catch up as well. So Kulik's got to get this done pretty quickly. Otherwise, he's going to be under pressure himself as they cut through this very fast complex. Double the brakes, back down to second gear for Kulik. And the last turn up here, which is a pain in the rectum. I hate this corner.
Absolutely.
Just never feel
Rubbish, off camber, nothing good about it. But if you want to learn to drive this track very fast, Chris Cooley is your man. He has just been grinding out absolutely bonkers lap times, and he is right on the back of Shady there, doing absolutely rubbish 203.9s and being filthy with himself. So if you want to know how to drive COTA, just go and watch this man do some practice, because he is absolutely flying when he's on it. And looks like he's pretty much on there as well.
Race 2 in Split Blue was good conditions, but it wasn't quite as low temperature as I hoped it would be. Do you reckon we'll see an 03 from him in something that's going to be around about 21, 28?
If he's allowed to participate, yeah.
Oh, good call. Of course, he's inside the top 10. Sorry. Just let him go out and burn some laps anyway. Why not?
Just disqualify him at the end of it.
Is that Malik? That's Malik Adanyake down there in P21, by the way. Hello, welcome back to Malik. Good to see you, man.
Although they're good to see a bunch of names back. It's been a little while. Obviously, Corey Sweet didn't make it to the end of the season last time out, so good to see him back running around. Chris Cooley really over the back of Shady here. He's going to go for a move down the inside.
Runs it too deep though.
That's too deep. Nah, that's not going to work. What's Lucas going to do? The smart thing, I think. And Cooley's going to park that thing on the apex and then resume business as usual and drive right back up to the back of Shady. I think from now, he's got that car sorted now, back online. Here we go.
Still no invoice here for Smith, so I'm not too sure if they're still looking at it or they've said play on.
Who knows? We'll wait with bated breath. For some reason, it's got Chris Cooley in P2, but that's just Kunov thing that the leaderboard update. Chris has got Lucas Keys all over the back of him, and then both Sonikai as well. We've got a yellow flag as a car 223 at that really long right-hander comes to blows. It's pretty hard to get the camera off this front battle because it's engaging, because both cars just have different strengths through this track, which has just every single different way you could make a car go around a corner. We've got an example, and it is a GDR turning a Mercedes around. Whoa, bouncy GDR.
Is that's Ramos Samuel in that 3 Pyramids livery, so that's unfortunate for Samuel on his return, so he would have dropped back a little bit from that one. Not sure who the GTR was that turned him around. Wasn't Cricky, so maybe Underwood.
Underwood, yeah, maybe. We haven't seen a lot of Cricky today, actually. He's been nice and quiet. Not too busy, which is good for him. It's always good when you can just have a race and just do your own thing, not be too bothered by the cars around. Lucas Keys has John Sonicus all over the back of him. That Lexus is mighty enough down the straight, so I don't think he has to worry too much unless John can absolutely send it from the bleachers. Doesn't manage to do that, so it'll be follow the leader unless somebody makes a silly mistake here or there, which, knowing the quality on this top 6, probably not going to happen.
You could just see the caliber of these drivers. Just no mistakes or just keeping everything nice and sweet. You see these good Chalmers currently in 11th position. Absolutely moves some green number.
What is he doing there defending thin air there? Well, Pudley was not really under any threat whatsoever. He was defending thin air there, Pudley.
That's just the Pudley way of life, mate. You just defend everything. He's the hardest car in the world to get around.
Except for Carlos
cars. The green race cars are a curse. Have a green race car. That's got to be Rochford all over him here. That's Zach Graham in the background. It is. So this is a nice little battle here for Pro-Am class lines.
Pete goes very wide, second last corner. That'll set Scott Rochford up for a run up the pit straight. And I don't think Scott really got that last corner right, so I think Pete's going to be safe, at least for now. But Zach Graham has Scott in his sights, and that is kind of in range for a bit of a stand, especially in this kind of braking zone, but everyone thinks the better of it. And we will follow everyone through the S's one more time. And Chris Cooley is all over the back of Shady Samuel again.
Round 3. And he's going to set him up here for another go at the hairpin. He's got to get a good drive out of here, get in that Mustang's toe and just let him drag him along. Because once that Mustang hits 4th gear, warp speed. It's close enough, but again, it's going to be a pretty big send. He showed the nose, he shows the nose, he's got to go down on the inside, Cooley. Oh, there's a slight touch there, he's got around.
And he's gone round.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
That's a tricky one. Definitely had rights to the corner. Was about as aggressive as the last one that he tried, but he didn't go anywhere near as deep that time. So, yeah, that's a tricky one. Poor old Kickers is trying his best out there, but it's gone from bad to worse since he got turned around by Smithy.
That is some very strange Kunos physics there.
That's a really weird one, isn't it?
That is bizarre.
close up a little bit on the back of Shady.
Got some penalties starting to filter through. Underwood with 15 seconds and Gonzalez with 10. So I think Zach Smith might have gotten away with one just based on that, but we'll still keep an eye out. He's got a pretty handy lead now, 5 seconds over Shady. That battling with Cooley really allowing him to just stretch out and do what he needs to do. We've got Pete Chalmers versus Scott Rochford. Hopefully these two don't come to blows. Scott Rochford on the inside. Nice and close racing. A little bit of door banging. Off you go. That's very, very good.
Oh, Pete just returns serve there. And Scott goes again. Thank you very much. Great exchange. Back up the front.
Right to Lucas Keys to third. Which, podium in this quality of drivers is never anything to scoff at. Pete Chalmers now having to defend from Zach Graham. That Ferrari versus Lamborghini, two of the really slower cars in a straight line. Wait and sort of see if Zach can set Pete up on the back straight. There's nowhere really to pass through here. As long as everyone keeps on track limits. Doesn't get a drive-through. There's no drive-throughs yet, which is good to see. And that is absolutely a curse from myself.
That is the
Well
greatest
done.
curse.
Here we go. There's
So
one.
well done from you.
There's one already. Bang, done. Magic wand.
That is as sharp as they come, almost instantly.
Oh, an SG30. Oh, ouch.
That for speeding in the pit
Oh,
lane
I'm
while
not
serving
taking
set.
credit for
I'd
that.
say so. Salt in the wings penalty, that one.
Take credit for that one. That's all I need.
No, not necessarily. No. Angelo Gonzalez was one of the LOR cars that started close to the top 10, so that might be just a big stick from the stewards, maybe.
True.
Because car
So he got a
55
drive through for track limits, and now he's got an SG30 from the stewards. That is a bit of pain to serve.
I wouldn't be. There was multiple incidents from LOR in that first lap. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a drive-through and then an upgrade to a stop go 34, two separate incidents, because he's nowhere near the pit lane. Car 55 is nowhere near the pit lane. So you might be right. It might be a track limits drive-through, but that could also just be an upgraded collision penalty.
Ouch. That is
Big
the
stick.
biggest- It's the biggest stick. There's Underwood at the moment, carrying a 15-second invoice himself. He's got Hayes behind him in an Audi. Oh, there's an Audi. They
There was
do
two
it.
Audis in the last race too. Good to see the four circles making a comeback. Here's a replay of a Mercedes going a little bit deep
Yeah.
and taking out two of his colleagues as well for good measure.
Yes, 55 is Angelo Gonzalez, and I can confirm he was given a 10-second penalty for causing a collision in lap 1, race 1, and then was also given a drive-through for that particular incident there. So I reckon the stewards have said rather than the drive-through and the 10-second, you can just have a stop-go break.
Fair.
Under fair. Speaking of names that is very, very good to see running around. P23 car 113, the Bentley. M. Powell.
Oh, everything's
Give this
right.
man some screen time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything
Just
is
follow him
right.
around for the rest of the race. Bugger the rest of everyone. This guy deserves it, and he's going to take a hop and track cut for that. But
Matt Powell in a Bentley.
So for those who don't know, our great and fearless leader Neil Alexander Mullick is obviously the owner and operator of Octane Online Racing, but this man is his right-hand man. We've got plenty of capable stewards and commentators and volunteers, but this man and Glenn Germain are the two who absolutely run the show for Mullick. And it is very good to see him back behind the wheel, because he has spent the last couple of seasons, the last couple of years, in fact, not racing, just to put all of this together for us week to week, while, and with Glenn Germain as well. So, as I said, just huge hats off to Matt Powell. Great to see him racing.
Glenn running around the Club 50 as well, which is awesome to see. He's got all over the back of Sam O'Brien here. He's having a welcome back to racing, Matt. Try and keep your car around behind another one around this track. It is as hard as it gets. So, yeah, wrangling all of us around for a couple of seasons. Very, very good to see him back in the driver's seat.
He's having a good run here as well, 23rd position. Oh,
Yeah, he's still on for reverse grid pole if he gets his shit together.
Turn the Bentley hacks on and decide that Motec's not required for this race.
So I have a question for you. Just looking at the as Matty has a little look up the inside there of O'Brien, thinks better of it, but he's pushed O'Brien wide, didn't quite get the exit. A little question here. We didn't have too many penalties in Split Blue in race 1, and we thought, oh yeah, this is better than last night. And then obviously race 2 turned to absolute carcass. So do you think this split with some really high quality drivers up the front, just looking through the names here, I don't see too many, is race 2, because race 2 in every split so far has been terrible for penalties. Are we going to see the same thing in Split Red?
I'd like to say no, but it is Split Red. And they do tend to get a bit more racy in race 2s. We just saw this battle here between Palmer and Johnson. Oh, it's Palmer.
This is for the reverse grid pole.
Yes.
The loser of this gets reverse grid pole at the moment. Zach Smith has got a 10-second penalty. So Shady's now job is to keep that 6-second gap under 10 seconds for the rest of this 7 minutes. We've got car 29 around at the top of the track before the back straight. But Carl Johnson and Brad Palmer here having an absolute battle for the ages for the reverse grid front row. Both in a Porsche. Sean Muller is having the best day of his life at the moment.
This is beautiful to watch. So we thought that Palmer might just sort of put the cue in the rack and hold on to that, but just look at the attitude of the car. He wants his 9th position badly.
Speaking of Palmer, he has a very excellent livery on at the moment, but he's also the creator of the Essendon Bombers livery, Muller, that I ran in that Porsche Cup race that we did for you. So this man here is very, very handy on the liveries, and created that Essendon Bombers livery that we ran.
And he's in a Porsche. Oh, I like the guy. I was in
Yeah, that's pretty good.
fan.
Very good.
Mahogany roof.
It is.
So JC, I was just talking to Muller before that if you were going to be any more later than you were, I was going to ask who your favourite Richmond player was as punishment for being late. There's only one answer, knowing that you are an Essendon supporter, but just for the sake of comedy, who is your favourite Richmond player?
Kane Baldwin.
Not Kevin Sheedy.
If we're adding X players in, then obviously old man Sheedy for sure.
Yeah, it's a fair game. Anyone goes.
Push up for me.
The
Jake
push-up
King.
Oh, yeah. Just an angry man.
Angry little man.
Yes.
And JP Sonicus has gotten past his brother. So Bentley into P4, net P3 based on the gap to Zach Smith with that 10-second penalty, but he's also managed to grab a second over Shady this lap, so Zach's doing his absolute best to keep that race win despite the penalty. He is way off in the distance.
Lucas just closing up to the back of Shady here as well, so there's that Mustang cooked its tyres a little too early. Got a replay here of, oh no, John's just, that's not the optimum line. No, definitely not. And JP just goes, oh, I'll take that, thank you. I'm sure there's plenty
Marvel's
of...
no one's friend.
Nope.
Zach Smith taking another second out of Shady, so man's doing his best. He's in a little bit of traffic now with some blue flags, but that's going to be one hell of an interesting thing to watch, is can Zach Smith, who's been running around in the SRO Enduros and doing a pretty spectacular job, can he make that gap, that 10 seconds to keep the win despite the penalty?
I'm going to say yes. Just looking at the way the gap's growing, he's absolutely flying at the moment. Got the fastest lap as well. That Lambo looks on rails. Here is Shady in the big bad Mustang. This is a nice eclectic group of cars. All front all front engine, rear wheel drive, all big V8s.
They all make pretty spectacular noises.
Yep. And supercars could benefit from watching that. But this is where it's at. The battle for 9th and 10th. The two Porsches, and Palmer is still trying to work on the back of Johnson here, but Johnson is not giving up, letting any, there's no space there. Can't pass there, buddy. Let's try and send it up here. Oh, this corner as well is absolutely horrible. If you go too wide there, track cut.
Low, it is. The apex is just sort of in the middle of nowhere, and if you go a bit tight, there's a big old pyramid that sends you to the moon. If you go too wide, there's a pyramid that sends you to the moon. There's nothing good about that corner there, except that other people make mistakes at it. So,
what's good about it is that it's difficult and requires precision. You guys are pussies. I love this track. I love how difficult it is.
oh yeah, it's the whole track as a whole, fantastic. Love precision, working both pedals at the same time, get the car just to weight shift around. Really, really good. It doesn't mean that, yes, that corner requires precision, that it's kind of not enjoyable.
All right, no, that's fair. I'll pay that. It's very bad on old tyres, Christ. Once you've got old tyres, it becomes very nasty.
And if you get it wrong and you got the front end sliding before you get there, there's no fun to be had.
This part of the track is magnificent. When you get this whole section right down to the hairpin, one of the best feelings.
Would you rather this section, or would you rather Maggots and Beckett's, which it's based on?
This section, because there's more of it.
I'm a history guy. Maggots and Beckett's for me.
Yeah, personally, I love both sectors, but Maggots and Beckett's for me is so much fun. And like, especially in an F1 car, the amount of speed you can carry through the first two apexes, and then you're just dropping down a couple of gears as you go through it. This one here's a bit more complex and requires a bit more hard work, so it is more rewarding, I guess. But I think Maggots and Beckett's is just one of the best series of corners in all of racing, let alone between these two.
We've had a change of position here. JP's got past Lucas. JP coming on very strong late in the race. Bentley obviously looked after his tyres, and now he's just dropped the hammer.
JP doing as JP does. Hamster in chat saying there might have been a bit of blue flag interference here. And that is not where you want to be as a blue flag. And Lucas clobbers that curb on the inside of the hairpin. And JP goes, I'm going to take a toe from this guy as well for good measure. Lucas is really going, oh, well, have it down, that's fine.
And that blue flag is still there. It's still there. Wow. Okay. That was something.
That's right, you gave it a go. Rubbing's racing, play on. Peach won't mind that. Peach is a very calm and concise person. He'll be very happy with that. He'll be like, no, it's okay. Play on, Lucas. No worries.
Last lap, Zach Smith is coming onto the back straight for the last time. The gap to Shady is 8.9 seconds. The gap behind Shady to JP is 2.8. So if Shady can keep that gap under 10 this lap, then he will take P1. I don't think Zach's going to lose any more than that after that little bit of a battle they had. But apart from that sort of first lap, they got a little bit messy for Zach, and the move on Chris Cooley that didn't really come off how he would have liked. He's been as fast as you could like, as John goes for a move down the inside. Lucas Keys here gets that Mustang pulled up. Lucas just hangs it around the outside. Shady's out of fuel, I think.
Out of fuel.
Oh, Shady.
Oh no.
Oh no. Zach Smith can thank his lucky stars, I think, there.
He's properly out of fuel too. Like, he's not able to even crawl to the line, so it's not like he can hang on to the first pole. Like, he's properly just stuck there. That's sad.
It's not even like we snuck in another lap too as well.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's not like he hasn't got teammates doing calculations for him either.
You can imagine the abuse coming his way. But Zach Smith takes P1, and he'll keep P1. JP Sonicus takes P2. Lucas Keys pelt onto P3. John Sonic is P4, Chris Cooley P5, Shady Samuel's name's there in P6, but he's not going to have P6. Corey Sweet takes it. He's going to go all the way down. He's not going to finish the race. It's going to be a DNF. He's going to have to go out and qualify again, which means there's a good chance we see a 203.
So does that, by my calculations, that puts Scotty Rochford on pole?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm
Oh,
doing
no.
too.
Yes.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
I agree.
Wow.
I think that's what we're going
Good
to see.
start.
I also just want to come in and correct Tom. I reckon P just pinched the win there. He's only 8 seconds behind, and Smithy's got a 10-second penalty, so that would put P.
Smithy's backed off as well, and Lucas Key's going to get him as well, because that'll be 9.3. So, he's almost behind John Sonicus as well with that gap, so we'll wait and sort of see what the final result is. It's going to be pretty close.
I think John's missed out by about 1,000th of a second. But Page P1, Lucas Keys P2, and Seneca's, I think he's missed out by literally 4,000th.
That's a good number. Unlucky, John. The rest of the cars come across the line to finish race 1 here. It's funny what happens when you swap from that sort of top 20 to the bottom 20, that the penalties all start to appear.
Yeah. And this, of course, is a full field of 40 cars, which is great to see. Good to see this. All the splits pretty full. That's what we like.
How good is it seeing 40 cars on the grid?
It's awesome.
It's been a long time. Got to go back to the days when we had split purple at 10:30 for when we were seeing this many numbers on a track. So chat, give us your driver of race 1. Trent Callahan saying Hayes P37 up to P17. That is a very, very good effort.
Just getting ready for second quali now. Of course, this will be position 11 down. Of course, the top 10 will be reverse grid. This is a 10-minute session, so it's short and sharp. And what you don't want is track cuts in these short sessions.
No, and you want to go out with your pressure's right, enough fuel to get through to the end of the session, and just go out and bash out the best lap you can.
Did you hear that, Shady? Enough fuel. Please add 5 litres.
All right, stop. He's already dead.
Green light, go, go, go.
So we'll just wait for the session to tick over. I think we have ticked over. There's some cars going out there now to set a few laps. The race director just making sure that the top 10 from last race don't sneak out again. As much as you want Chris Kuehl to go out there and do a 203.2 or whatever the stupid lap times he can do, probably not going to happen. We'll let the 11th through to 40th, still 30 cars on track, go out and do what they can do. So results from race 1. JP takes the win. P2 Lucas Keys. Realistically, that blue flag to cost Lucas Keys the race win when you think about it. Zach Smith P3, John Sonicus P4, Chris Cooley P5.
13 thousandths John Seneca's missed out by. Silver class led by Bartlett with Johnson and Palmer 2 and 3.
And Pro-Am, Rochford, Chalmers, Graham and Crick. Nice drive, Cricky. Well done.
And the AM class, Rob Brickley in the Bentley. Bentley winning Pro and AM class. Very good to see Sam O'Brien and James McCauley taking P3. So we'll let qualifying start. Everyone start and just get those tyres warm. Run those cars as Cricky in the Pixel Polygon Racers livery. GTR. A fantastic colour scheme that you came up with him, JC. And we'll let these guys do what they need to do. Was that what flag was that for Luke there? That wasn't one I was familiar with.
I missed the flag. I was looking at his
There it
livery.
is.
I like green. That's a great livery. Isn't that Azerbaijan?
Maybe. I'm going to
I
Google.
think so.
That's my immediate guess. That looks like the Azerbaijan flag. But yeah.
It is
That's
the
a great livery.
Azerbaijan flag. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I was looking at that livery. That's I'm a big fan of green, straight up. So for me, that's a banger. I don't know what Wigan is, but I'm a big fan of V, and I'm a big fan of green. So yeah, he's got that going.
Wigan is a town in England and a football club.
Yeah, but he's from Azerbaijan, so surely we're not. I don't think it's that. He's got there's a. Can we have a look at the side of the car, please? There's a little person next to Wigan that might give us more.
Everyone's blowing up there.
Back up here as everyone tries to get on their qualifying laps. But yeah, next to the 666 there, he's got Wigan, and it looks like there's a little person there. So if he's an Englishman from a pub, then I'll pay that he is. Okay. Is that a Chinese samurai type?
Careful.
Well, look. I'm just not cultured. Track temp of 29, ambient 22. So, is there anyone who's been? Oh, Shady's got to be favourite here, seeing as he dropped out of the top 10.
Shady and Sweet, I think. Oh no, sorry.
Ben
yeah,
Floyd down there in P40,
yeah.
I reckon, is a good shout for. I don't think he made it for the start of the last race, so he'll be a good shout for somewhere in the upper reaches of this session here. So we'll wait to sort of see. Everyone's still warming the tyres. Laps just starting to get rolling. Track temp's not too cold, so we're not going to see any genuine records being set. You wouldn't think. Ethan Pino in a very, very good-looking Lexus. A lot of green on this grid.
He's got the 117 out, and he's hopping around in the Lexus. Here we go. Here's my man.
Jeez. Bit of late night viewing for JC. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's got a nice clear track as well. Look at that.
I'm in the mood too. I'm naked at the moment.
Wait.
But no, I lost a bet. So Kafil Slade.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah, Kafil Slade said that I had to get naked and dance on stream if I've got a drive-through, and I said I'm not going to do it all season long. Literally round 1.
Oh, you made it to the second race.
I made it to race 2.
Give yourself some credit. That wasn't a valid lap from Ethan, or it was an outlap. I think Saxon Hayes in the Kentucky Fried Chicken liveried Audi. Not exactly 3 letters you tend to associate with Audi, but with a 2:05.6 from Ben Floyd straight up. So anyone else who had Ben Floyd on their bingo cards for doing well here, pretty good start for you. Mitchell Van Dyke, closest battle with 1.2 off.
Map out. 113. Invalid lap, so he'll have to go around again and have to set a very good time. Currently sitting down in 11th, which is a net. I'm not going to try and guess where it is. Somewhere.
Just add 10 to it, Sean. It's all good.
Okay. Maths is hard. Here's Zach Grove. Yes, that is a livery.
We haven't had an anime livery for a while. Chat, what's your opinion on anime liveries? I'm not going to make mine clear. I've made it clear before. But at least it's white, so if you turn the brightness up on your screen enough, you can't really see any other details.
Problem is those wheels. Oh gosh.
It's good to see a little bit of variety. It's just the rest of the stickers on the car are no good. Shady Samuel does a 2:04.995. So it'll be between Floyd and Samuel, you'd have to think. At least to start here. Can't see too many other people on the grid being able to sort of be in that class, but there's a lot of laps still to be done. We've still got 3.5 minutes to go. Zach Graham here, he's got half a second on his old lap time. We'll swap to Dean Wood in a very classic Porsche livery. Black, red, and white. Easy peasy. Never goes badly.
Yeah. Perfect colour combination, that one. Probably be a little bit better if you get rid of the white and just have black and red. But can't all be perfect.
Maybe he's a Saints man. There's nothing you can do about
Cool. Oh, yeah, true. Obviously, play the Saints on the weekend. Just saying.
I'm not talking about the Bombers this week. they're on my naughty list the last couple of weeks.
Dean Wood bangs it into P3. Last season, if he showed up, it meant it was raining. But remember, Samuel takes that P3 off him. You get the feeling to start to see some time tumbling down. People who've got their eyes in now, started to bang out proper quali laps instead of those slightly safer race laps you see. Nick Miller here in P5. He's found half a second in the first sector. That's a handy gain on any track, let alone here, where half a second will get you all the way up into P3. Hopefully that McLaren in front of him doesn't present too much of a traffic challenge and give him a nice tow down this back straight, but he might run into some traffic trouble at the end of this lap, unfortunately, which is a shame, but it is the way these things go.
I've heard the Aston's pretty good already.
Really?
Yeah. If you drive it right. Oh, as you can see, as Tom said there, the traffic, that's hurt his lap big time.
Still got time to back out of that one and have another crack at it. Hopefully his tyres aren't too cooked. We're here now with Pete Chalmers, who's also found a good third of a second, gets the car pulled up nicely for the hairpin at the end of the straight, finds a little bit of time, and now we're in the real Mickey Mouse part of the track. All slow speed, get the traction right, get the car settled, get the lines right. Here's that real precision corner where if you're offline slightly, you just wallow away time. And hasn't Pete Chalmers found that? He's just bled a tenth and a half, doing not a lot wrong. Still 3 and a bit corners to go. This quadruple apex right-hander is a pretty cool corner, and he's got it mostly right. 2 left-handers to go. He's still bleeding off a little bit of time. Those tyres probably crying enough now. But still a tenth and a bit to find. We'll punt him up the field a couple of places. That pulls him up to P7, just ahead of a very good friend in Pete Viney. We're on board here with Ben Floyd, who's... I don't think this lap's invalid, because if it is, he's running out of time, but we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, this might be the Delta bug that has popped into ACC spectator mode over the last couple of months. So we'll just keep an eye on that Delta. He's currently 4,000s down. He's got some traffic to deal with here too. That's Den Warner, who's done the right thing. He jumped out of his way. That's very good from him. And the dad's BMW. And unfortunately it has just aero washed Floyd out a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that line. Unless he's really got some time in the last 2 corners. He has actually found a little bit through there. Okay, here we go. What's he got in the last corner? He's going to send it in through there and miss the apex. So he's gone really deep, and that has absolutely washed away that lap. Unfortunate there for Floyd. It wasn't going to net him any positions, though. He is 7/10 away from Shady, who's snuck into the 204s.
Yeah, but Angelo Gonzalez, yep, got a bit of time in the books now. We'll see if he can keep going for the rest of the lap. He's got to find another 3/10 to get on Shady's level, and he's going to find a 10th coming out of that ugly old left-hander. We're through the big old quadruple apex corner again. He's not finding a ton of time. We'll see if he's got some time through those last 2 corners, but this is going to absolutely put him into provisional P2 for this second qualifying session if he can get the end of this lap right.
Oh, hang on.
Hang on.
Hang on. Oh,
Not quite.
just misses. Here's his teammate Satriel, who's up as well. Played a little bit of time there.
I think he'll be hoping not to be near his teammate after the last race, to be honest. But we'll see what he can do.
Now into this absolute Mickey Mouse corner. Little wide there. Oh, that is... You do not want to go any further wide than that. Now through the quad apex. Run out a little wide. You kind of miss that apex a little bit. Then tuck the nose back in. Stab of the brake. One twist of the steering wheel. Good, gained a bit of time there. Nice work. Just got the penultimate last corner to go. Penultimate corner is one before you idiot. And lost a lot of time down the last corner, so that moves him up to P7.
So Shady Samuel will start P11, Gonzalez P12, Floyd P13, Ramez Samuel P14, Taniaki in P15, which is very good to see on his return. Mike Crick, a very good result for him in P16. And any other sort of real standout results there as we go for a run down the grid, see some of the liveries we've got for Split Red this season. It's a long run because we've got 40 cars. Anything standing out to anyone at the moment?
Well, that purple GTR's okay.
That is the best livery on the grid.
Green Lambo. I don't like green on race cars, but that one's nice.
Yes, look at that. Get all your business
Scani's-
needs from Money Tech, by the way.
Cha-ching.
How's the SL shading on the Lambo? That's cool.
Yeah, very.
Yep, the Hulk.
That's remember that Merc that raced at Nürburgring a couple of years ago?
Yes, that was also
Yeah.
a Kovacs car.
Yes.
Yep, he's pretty bloody good, Tux, isn't he? Jesus, Ben Dyke stands out on any grid he is on. He stands out. He does such a good job of drawing your attention to what are we doing?
He's having a good time.
He loves
And
it.
for that reason,
Good
it's
on
okay.
him, for sure.
As
Yeah.
long as he's happy.
Matty Powell.
Classic Bentley.
That is a classic livery for Matty. I think he's run that one in almost every race he's done.
Wow, that's yep, that's an interesting Porsche. I'll say that.
That's a flag.
It is.
Is it just the Australian flag running through the middle of something else? It's not two flags? The KFC Audi. That's pretty good.
Yes.
I rate that. Is that Zinger? If that's Zinger on the top, I reckon there's a Zinger on the top there. I'm a big fan.
There
That's
is.
that's a top 3 livery. Yes. Very good.
What a
The
green.
Fruit Bowl BMW. Yeah,
The dads. Yeah. Don't you want it?
good stuff.
Great livery. The Lexuses are all missing liveries. Is that something we can do nothing about? Is that they've all got to be black?
Oh, look at that.
I think it's a Lexus thing. That is spectacular. The integrated flag is good.
That is class.
Ooh, look at that Bentley. Ooh, that's bold.
Rob Brickley, I think that is purple on a car. Works really well. And then we'll look at Chris Keeley's livery, and
Classic.
the
Classic.
end of the livery review will be finished off in style.
So race 2, as always, there'll be a little bit of a delay here while they get all the grids sorted and their names called out. But it will be Scotty Rochford from pole.
You love to see it.
Oh, it's
Love
yes.
to see it.
Can we
Oh,
just get...
what a
Oh,
shot.
it's a shot. Shot. Absolutely.
Texans ton sets.
Yeah, no, that's Brad Palmer's. We looked about that. We looked at that one before. Yeah, I liked yours, for sure. I don't know how much stream time you got, but oh, here it is. Yeah, right, here it is. Oh, sorry. Oh, I just realised I've got YouTube chat open. Where's YouTube? Where's chat? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, YouTube chat. I'm coming. I'm going to get you open. Can we get prayers in chat? Now, fingers crossed, please, that race 2 here is the cleanest race 2 we have seen in round 1 Oceania of Octane Online Racing. Can I please get some prayers in chat? Luigi, pray.
I don't think you can do those emotes in the YouTube chat,
No.
which is a shame.
It is a shame. Another fantastic shot. 7 cars out on there, more on that.
I want to go to this track just for that tower, and just to go up onto that tower. Shout out to CrowdStrike on the banners there, who had a very, very good week.
Probably shares have gone up.
I wonder if it's the dusk. Just everyone gets a little bit tense, a little bit tired. If that's sort of why we've seen a lot of pens in the last couple of races. Conan's saying there will be a safety car. There wasn't a safety car in race 1, and I think there's been a safety car in every race 2 so far. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So,
No, I think you're right. That's what Ashland's trying to do there. Ashland's gone for the fabled reverse curse, and I reckon that's going to be bang on. It's the cleanest split in Oceania is red.
Rob's correct, yep. Race 2, reverse grid. What's the worst that can happen?
a lot of very fast people in what would normally be called the danger zone around P10, where you get that intersection between the really fast guys and the people that are finding their speed. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what JP there in P10 and Lucas Keys can do from the middle of the pack there as we go double file coming around the last couple of corners. Start race 2. It'll be a delayed start because the pole sitter is sitting somewhere in the middle of the track, and JC's still naked, and Sean Muller will take us through the start of race 2.
Here we go, race 2, split red, Simrigs.com online Octane Racing from COTA in the good old Texas. It is going to be Scotty Rochford who is going to lead us away. Palmer, Johnson, Bartlett, Sweet, Cooley, Sneakers, Keys, Smith and Sneakers. There are your 10. As they go double file now, make sure you pass your pit boxes. Such a long run to the green flag as well. You just got to, oh, that's a bit of a gap there behind. Someone's trying to do a bit of a sneaky. That'll be looked at. Not long now, and we're about to go racing, and everyone looks like they've got a nice clean start. They fan out 4-5 wide, if you don't mind. Rochford now gets it in, knows it. He's run a little wide, a little taily on the exit. Billy's got around. Foot on the brake. He's turned around nicely there. But back up the front, it's Palmer and Rochford absolutely going hard at each other. Johnson's right there as well. So they've had a great start. Rochford though, he's just opened up a little gap. Looking back here, that's Zachary Smith going to try and go around the outside of the Bentley. No, you can't do that. Surely not. Oh,
yes, he's going to do it.
Yes, he can. What a move. So Zach Smith is already up to 4th position. That is alarm bells for the rest of the field. And he is flying as they go into this tight hairpin. Run it nice and deep. Palmer and Johnson there going at it again. Look in the background, there's a little bit of too wide action. But everyone looks like they've got through it nice and cleanly. Here is JP on the move as well. And he's going to bring Lucas with him for the whole run down the straight. Oh, he's gone defending Lucas now, switches to the outside. He's going to have to break super deep from there. I don't think he's... Oh, he's looking that up the inside. John wants a bit of this action as well.
It's a great move.
Let's get bullied.
Wow, fantastic. Shuttles setting us full through Tom board in the background, and Lucas Keys has got past JP here, and John's right on the back of JP as well. So this start has been fantastic for Lucas. He's got that Lexus absolutely hooked up.
So does John Senekis in that Ford. He's got the bit between the teeth. He's made some really nice moves in the second sector there and moved his way up to P6, 7-ish, 8 P8.
Around the outside.
In around the outside from Brad Palmer this time. He's making all of the moves early on. He's very much going to hunt down these front two very quickly, and he's trying to stretch his legs out there, but...
Watch out for this Mustang behind to make it 3 wide into 2-1. Here we go.
It's Corey Sweet up the inside and does well to back out of it. Now there's a bit of over-under action happening. No, they've all kept it going straight. Oh, no. Come on, sort it out. Come on. This is what you get from reverse geared races, ladies and gentlemen. You get the slow drivers in front of the fast ones, and there's a lot of differences in pace here. John again sneaking through up there. John's just gapping people. This is great stuff.
That was
Got one car in the pits, 102. But everyone's still moving. Looks like Chris Cooley's made it onto the back of the field, which is good to see. Brad Palmer was running into P3. He's been absolutely bullied down to P7 by the back end of that reverse top 10. And we see Ben Floyd, who was the unfortunate spinner there at the start of that second lap, who's down now to P10. And, running line astern with his teammate Corey Sweet. And Scotty Rochford leads from Carl Johnson, from Zach Smith, from Lucas Keys.
Green Porsche in the background just fired in the fence. So here we go. Smith, Keys, Sonikas. That is a tasty battle pack.
We'll see if that Lexus can keep up with Zach through the twisty bits. He can keep up on the straight bits, that's no problem, but the twisty bits are where you find time. And Zach Smith, known esports professional, is going to deploy every single trick in his toolkit to give Carl Johnson a little bit of pressure and just try and get as far away from that old beast as he can.
He's doing a fantastic job up in front. Here's Carl. And here comes
Zach Smith.
Zach.
Already all over the back of him. We'll see how the Lambo goes against the Porsche in a straight line. Carl's not known to give these things up too easily. We'll see if he goes defensive or if Zach's going to go for a dive. Nothing doing so far, but there's always the switchback. There's always the exit. But Carl's got him covered for now. Can he do it for another 25 minutes though? It'll be a big ask.
Yeah, Smithy's really close and just biding his time here through the S's in the first sector, and I would suggest all he wants to do is be nice and close to Carlos here as they come into the hairpin onto the back straight, because he'll know that the Porsche is just not very strong down that straight, especially carrying around that extra 33 kilos that it's got. So he'll just
go defensive here.
Okay, Zach, straight up the inside. Thank you very much. Job done. Thanks for coming.
Switch back, Carlos. Give it a go. But the Porsche
Lucas Key's going to look on very interested.
Horsepower. Look at the Porsche. Go, you good thing.
Porsche under brakes. Porsche very good under brakes.
Porsche excellent under brakes. Porsche very good under brakes. Whoa, that's as close as you like.
Good stuff from both drivers.
He's going to have a go. The intimidation strat from Zach hasn't worked. Carl's gone, bugger, I know what your name is. I'm going to still go for it anyway, but he's managed to get the move done now. We'll see if Carlos can stick with him, but Lucas Keys is going to now look at the back of that Porsche and try and set up a move in the not too distant future and keep up with Zach there. Zach's run a little bit wide on the exit of a big old quadruple apex corner. And we'll run around here to start lap 3 or 4, not even sure up to anymore. This has all been pretty good, pretty clean, which is nice to see.
Yeah, very good reverse curse, Ashland Reynolds. I'm putting that one on you. Nice work. Tell you what, Smithy drove very well there. Carlos had the car in a lot of places. That's a nice move up the inside too.
JP. That Lexus is ridiculous.
Just wait till we get to Paul Ricard.
Yeah, it's going to be... Yeah, them and the Mustangs, it's going to be silly. But Porsche, little car that could. And it's been hampered, of course, yeah, by that 33 kilos. If it didn't have that, it is a weapon around here. But yeah, 33 kilos is a lot of weight to carry. And that definitely hurt a lot more towards the end of the race. As we've got on camera 2 here. This looks like Zach Smith going for a move here on Scotty Rochford. Same place, different driver, gets it done.
We'll see what he's got against the McLaren in a straight line down this back straight though. It's got no stranger to ACC. He's done probably the most LFM races on the platform. He's going to keep a look down the inside of Zach all the way down this back straight, and he's going to take the apex over the corner and then park the bus on the way out. Very nicely done. We're going to fight here through the rest of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3 here. Zach Smith is going to grapple for traction and they're going to go side by side, nose to tail, all the way through here. This is excellent racing.
That's fantastic there from Scotty Rochford. Absolutely placed that beautifully. The way he just parked it there, that's a professional move if I've ever seen one. Look at Zach Smith though. Out comes the playbook. Oh,
Yeah, bang.
oh, look at that. Oh, look, his keys here. Winds that big Lexus up. Passing McLaren, no problem. Look at that. That cannot beat horsepower.
Absolutely not. But that battle did allow Lucas to keep tabs and keep in touch with Zach here. So we'll see a little bit of a fight going on as Scott is now being bullied by the Bentley of JP Sonicus. Carl Johnson now down to P5, holding off John Sonicus in the Mustang. So bit of biffo going on all the way through this top 5 here. Brad Palmer just losing touch in P7. And Corey Sweet with the first penalty of the race with 10 seconds in P8. Just ahead of David Bartlett. So Carl is now setting up Scott Rochford here. And Scott has gotten a bit too much power on at that kink and done a couple of number 11s. Nearly takes out John on the way through as well. And at this point now, that Porsche is going to be mincemeat to that Mustang, you'd have to say. But Zach Smith has pulled a little bit away from Lucas now. He's gotten out of the slipstream range. We'll see if he can keep it that way for the rest of the race.
Slide there from Scotty Rochford. Oh, that was close. Very
Likely
close.
there would have been some words in Kovacs.
Yeah.
Come on. They've sorted
That's
it
a
out.
very calm team speak. What are you talking about?
John driving very well here, by the way. And I don't know whether he's going to be able to track down Peach very quickly, but if he does manage to catch up to him, he'll put some pressure on him. So that'll be worth a watch if he manages to close that window.
At this point, I think they'll all be hoping for a little bit of a battle. They've all kind of spread out with that sort of 8 tenths, 9 tenths gap. If any cars in front can start having a battle, though, that'll be when the opportunity comes to close up and start making everyone's life a little bit more difficult. We're on board here with Brad Palmer in the Porsche with the mahogany roof.
Scotty Rochford in front, head down the straight now, and this is, as a Porsche lover and driver, this is the part you absolutely hate. Because no matter what you do, everything pulls away from you. But watch this. Oh, Porsche brakes. Brilliant. Oh, Taylor there on the exit, holds on to it though. It's tricky.
I don't think that's
Oh, no.
GTR action. Yeah, that's not good. That's Underwood just really missing his brake line there. Cricky, unfortunately, wearing.
Oh, there's another one.
You straightened him up.
Unlucky for Cricky, who was having a really good night up until then.
Chris Cooley, after being turned around and was in plumb last at the end of lap 1 T1, has already got himself back up to 14.
That is a cracking
There you
effort
go.
from Ketchers.
In 12 minutes.
Oh,
Wow.
Palmer's done the right thing. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how to avoid an incident. Palmer understood that he missed his brake marker, and instead of sending it down the inside, avoided the accident by going to the outside and kept everyone alive. That is how you do it right there. Nice work, Brad.
P. John Lucas. He's going to get this done. He's placed the car right there on the apex. They're going to go, oh, a little bump there. Bit of a hip and shoulder. That's fine. Play on.
Zach Smith will be loving this. Just let him go away, do what he wants to do.
But P just placed that Bentley right spot. Absolutely perfect. Great move.
So it took us 13 minutes for what really was the running order of the top 3 to re-establish itself in race 2.
Oh,
Looking
Zach
down the
Smith's got a
field.
15-second penalty.
He does too.
Wow.
Is that for the 3 wide stuff, maybe?
Could be, yeah. That's a significant stick.
Race 2, lap 2. So yeah, I think it was that 3 wide. causing a collision 15 seconds. So he's got a bit of work cut out to make 15 seconds on JP Sonicus, let alone the couple of cars that are following him through. Yeah, I think it is this. Oof.
Okay. So this here essentially is the battle for the lead at the moment, because the gap's only 3 seconds, so he's got to find 12 seconds in 16 minutes. It's going to be a tough ask. Of course, JP and Lucas will see that, so they'll be having the foot down as well. And John's just slid his way up there into fourth. Another really good... Oh, Lucas, that's not the line.
Sending a board flying just for camera effect. We've got a drive through for Sam O'Brien. I think maybe for track limits. So there's number one. Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Just having a look here at the penalties. Mike Crick has been given a 15-second penalty. I wonder if that's for something completely unrelated that we didn't see. We obviously saw the two GTRs come together, and that was very much not on Cricky. So I wonder if there was something else, or if they've just handed that to the wrong GTR.
If I would hope it was something else if it wasn't an accidental boo-boo to the wrong GTR, but we will find out in due course. You'd have to say, I think it's JLS, the race director, who's in charge of handing out penalties and making sure everything's running as it should be. I'll wait to sort of see if that gets corrected.
We can see Smithy and Sweet's penalties here on the board too, but also noting here that I can see a 15-second penalty to Mr. Matt Powell for causing a
Go
collision.
halfway through. Keep it up.
Welcome back, Matty.
If he's in charge of protests still.
He's going to do himself off.
So that gap in front has just come down a little bit, down to 2.9. It did go to 3 seconds, but JP's just sliced a little bit of time off as we're looking at Carl Johnson here. Oh, is that Cricky? Cricky's in the pits. So that went directly to pits, so obviously something happened there.
Corey Sweet with a drive through for track limits as well. So welcome back to racing, Corey. That'll drop you a fair way down, and he's got his teammate Ben Floyd behind him. I'd best be letting him through to deal with the cars in front sooner rather than later, my friend, because you're not being able to do too much over the next couple of laps, you'd have to say. Brad Palmer will breathe a short sigh of relief that he's got one Mustang less to deal with. That's Cricky.
Oh no. Oh.
That's I've had enough.
Yeah. Here's Carl. Scotty Rochford. Fantastic drive from these two. Palmer as well, actually. All three of them going really well.
Didn't get too spooked by the names coming through, and they've just kept doing what they've had to do. And with that 15-second out front for Zach, every chance over the next 13 minutes with Palmer there is all over the back of Scott Rochford, that there's still positions to be had and still time to be gained and all sorts of things to come out of the wash at the end of the race as Corey Sweet comes in to serve his drive-through. That'll promote Ramez Samuel on his return to sprints into the top 10, which is another really, really cool thing to see.
Palmer's really getting racy here. He wants this position for Rochford. Oh, this is interesting. So Porsche versus GTR. GTR wins. So they're going to go down the straight. GTR's going to go defensive. Porsche's going to try and slide it up. Sort itself out, hopefully. It looks like it has.
And that Mercedes and Thatcher are looking on, very, very interested as a keen observer on that. Scott Rodford's managed to get himself a little bit free of Brad Palmer now. He's all over the back of Carl Johnson now. As Ben Floyd in that Mustang is now on the back of Palmer. We'll see what the difference is between the Porsche and the Mustang. Both have a slipstream, but you have to say that Mustang's probably got the American ponies to just dispatch that Porsche as the straight goes. But as long as he can make the apex here and the exit stick, he should have that position sewn up. But Brad's going to hang it round to the outside, which is what I like about these two corners, that you can still do stuff after you've sort of lost that first apex. You can still try and make something happen, even if it wasn't necessarily available to you, with a bit of racing part. But that is Ben Floyd making the move past Brad Palmer for P7.
Nice move there from Floyd. He'll get the head down and try and chase after Watchford here. Watchford's actually starting to eat into Johnson's gap here, so definitely keep an eye on that. The Porsche, of course, once its rears start to go, it turns into an absolute heat to drive.
Oh, so just in that, we're in that sort of that 15-minute phase where the tyres start to do weird stuff. So, depending on the setup, it might start to affect everyone. We're going to drive through for Nick Miller down there in P20, and this is sort of when we started to see drive-throughs come thick and fast in the last race, without mentioning too many names.
This will be a good battle here because Watford will hopefully try and get in the slipstream of that Porsche, and then of course they've got that Mustang behind. And we've just seen the Mustang is a bit of a cheat mode on the straights. So Floyd's just got to keep it neat and tidy here and basically activate cheat mode. Oh, Watford. Oh no! Oh, they got together. That's going to allow Floyd now. He'll have a huge run. Johnson goes defensive. Floyd swings to the inside. Scott's got to go with him. Look at that. Not even worth challenging. Wow, that's ridiculous. But nice work here for Floyd. He's up to 5th position, so he drove nicely through the field.
At the moment now, it's sort of letting Zach Smith drive away from this pack. So it'll be up to Floyd now to just get his head down, see if he can get within that 15 seconds of Zach, take advantage of that 15-second pen that Zach's been given by the stewards. And if he can drag along the Porsche, the McLaren, and the Porsche with him, all the merrier. Is there anything else going on a bit further down the field? Chris Cooley almost in the top 10. Remember Samuel with a 10-second penalty as well, so that promoted Cooley back into the top 10 after his unfortunate spin at the...
Oh no.
Oh.
And here's Corey Sweet. Oh no, he must have...
That was a good save.
It was a good save. Doesn't mind getting that Porsche sideways, does he, Carlos?
Doesn't mind getting anything sideways. Loves a skid. If you saw the car he drives in real life, that makes a whole bunch of sense.
Eight minutes remaining. 8:30 in the evening in Texas. Just a perfect time to go drive. Oh, that's too deep. That is way too deep. And
That is not how you rejoin.
Oh, we're going to go around again. Yep. One more time for the captain.
Just getting the 117 on the broadcast. That is star points are rated.
It's a good way to make sure you're rejoining into a safe gap, is all I'll say.
Corey Sweet cops a 10-second penalty to go with his drive-through that he served. That'll make him nice and happy. This battle rages on between Johnson and Rochford.
Just on Keely Watch, he's up to P9. He's 4 seconds behind this battle here. There's absolutely a P6 in the offering for him if he gets his head down and can make that Aston do some weird things. Zach Smith still with the purple lap, but now that Chris has got some clear air, I wouldn't be surprised to see that change hands in the next couple of minutes.
Not long to go now. I feel like there's something left in his battle. On that. Oh, that is a big boot, and that'll come with a big increase.
Now he's got an absolute battle to defending. It's two Mustangs with a rubbish exit, so he's going to lose one here down the straight. Does he lose another one? I think that Mustang might be a bit too far back, but dive bombs can be dive bombs.
Ooh, that Mustang, that was a weird move. Oh, he's got the position. How's he done?
Lambo keeps it. Nice dive.
Wow. Great move. Love that shot.
And speaking of drive-throughs coming around, 555 Jay Sonicus with a drive-through for track limit. That'll improve the mood.
That hurts me.
Here goes Palmer on Rochford. Has he got this done? Porsche's brilliant under brakes. Just going to hold him to the outside, and he gets it done. Lovely move. Hopefully got a good exit, because that McLaren will come back.
Not as good as it used to be in a straight line, unfortunately, but I think he's got enough of a gap now that shouldn't have to defend here. And no, he can keep doing his line. Scott Rochford is one of those drivers you can trust to do the right thing. Doesn't pile into the back of him, just keeps the line, and we all roll on forward. Palmer up to P7. Rochford, your pole sitter, down to P8 after a pretty clean couple of laps so far, and he's now got Chris Cooley. He's going to let him go, I think. No, that was a blue flag car letting everyone through.
Give it a lap, and we'll be on the back of this battle.
We've got 3 laps to go because Zach Smith has just crossed the start-finish line. So, a couple more to go. Carl Johnson still running around in P6. He's now got Brad Palmer, who's just dispatched Carl's Kodak's teammate Scott Rochford for P7. So, now Porsche on Porsche, Manu Imanu for P6. Ben Floyd has disappeared up the road a little bit, and he's going to gain a spot with John's drive-through, but still plenty of racing to do here as Brad goes a little bit deep into turn 1. Saxon Hayes down in P23 with the drive-through for track limits. So how many more drive-throughs are going to get, chat? Another 2, number 3, another 4? That is a Mustang Shady Samuel with a bit of damage there on camera 2. Being in the wars is down there in P14. So there's a little gaggle of cars there too. There's a couple of little gaggles of cars, which is good to see this late into a race.
You always want to battle, I feel like, in these races. It just keeps the mind sharp, keeps you focused. Definitely don't want to be out doing Hollywood laps on the road. As Cooley now, he's going to be a rider. He is right there. So he's got time to at least make 1 position, maybe 2, which is a huge comeback drive. That's, oh, if you don't, yep, no worries. That is as decisive as you'll get.
That is a man who knows exactly how his car will stop for a corner. He is well in tune with that Aston, I think is a good way to describe the way he feels about that car.
He will defend it till the cows come home. About a young camera 2. That's Samuel Bendig in that absolute abomination. Can't read that name behind. Up to get. There's Brickley. Very good drive there for top 20, so lovely drive for an AM.
Absolutely, lead and driver on the grid at the moment. Gonzalez up in P12 has got himself a drive too, so all these cars find another position. So still a whole heap to play for. Quickly in that 109 Bentley is hunting around. Palmer here all over the back of Carl Johnson. That's just letting Chris Cooley make his move up onto the back of those two Porsches. And I think there'll be 2 laps to go from here, and Carl Johnson's going to have his work cut out, not only to defend from Brad Palmer, who's got that car a little bit more settled, you'd have to say, but also Chris Cooley. And Carl's going to go defensive into the hairpin to start the back straight for the second last time. And that's going to let Palmer go a little bit deep, open up the ability for Chris Cooley to get a little bit of a better exit, tuck right into that slipstream. And now that Aston's turbo has spooled right up and is going to just absolutely just push that little tiny V8 that could all the way down the back straight. Carl Johnson has to go defensive because that Aston's got a massive head of steam. Palmer's going to try and hang it around the outside of the corner at the end of the back straight. Cooley is going to have to defend from Palmer here because Palmer's actually got a pretty good exit there. It's actually a really, really good bit of racing from these 3 guys to just keep everything moving and moving pretty quickly as well.
Carlos did well to position himself too, because he, as you said, he knew he had to defend from Cooley, who was coming up real quick, and that sort of compromised all 3 of them. So this is a great battle from the 3 of them to be able to keep themselves going straight forward and safe here. It's not over yet.
Nah, Carl's got that car really loose. They come together at a very fast part of the track.
Oh,
no!
Oh dear.
That'll be a fun one for the stewards to look at. That's 3 cars coming into one.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one for sure. No one was particularly over-aggressive there either. It was just as you said, 3 cars don't go into one. I think it's almost going to be a racing incident, but we've seen plenty of pens handed out tonight. The stewards might be fucking over it. Just give them a stop-go each.
Clear all penalties. No one gets anything. There's a couple of cars come in for some drive-throughs. We'll see where John comes out of the pits, but Chris Cooley's come out of that, in theory, in the lead. We'll watch here. Gets a bump on the rear quarter from Carlos, and then... That's messy.
Yeah. The one who's smiling is Scott Rochford. Because he's just like, oh, 2 free spots. Beautiful.
I didn't lie, Gorilla. They were racing well. I just cursed them. It's a big difference. That was a car in the wall at the back there. We're on the last lap here, and it's all kicking off now. There's penalties and there's all sorts of rubbish everywhere. So if Ben's got time for replay, I'm sure we'll get one. But we're watching here as Pete Chalmers all over the back of Ataniaki on his return to the Sprint Series. And he'll have to put in a mighty effort. That Lamborghini's not going to have the guts down the straight to do much about it. Porsche things. That's a big stop.
It's finished race.
He's got a fair old train behind him. Back up the front. Looks like
Checkered flag.
checkered flag. So Zach Smith did cross the line first, but that will drop. He will drop down the order. I'll get that when the race ticks over. Carl Johnson there currently in 7th, so that's a great drive.
Absolutely. Lead silver driver. But Scott Rochford will take P5 and the Pro-Am class victory as well. Very good drive from him. He started on pole. Had a couple of pretty rapid guys turn up very quickly on his doorstep, and that's very difficult to deal with on a good day. But he's handled it very well to come through P6. Chris Cooley, P5 after being last on that one, is a mighty effort from him. And watching here, Pete Chalmers all over the back of Taniaki. It's going to be really, really close coming through to the line. Not quite enough. And Shady tucked in behind Pete Chalmers for P15.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that is...
Is that an LOR car on the last corner of the last
It is.
lap? Otherwise, he's redressed it. There you go. They've got the right attitude, those guys. They just don't quite have the skill. Like, it's just not... The side-by-side is really tough for them. I wonder what their ping's like. I wonder if it's anything to do with that. I want to like them. I love that they're here. And the attitude's right. Like, he's redressed that. You can tell that they've got the right attitude. They just don't quite get it right.
Yeah, there's definitely, they're very, very quick when they can put a lap together, but unfortunately, every now and then, when they put another car next to them, it can be a bit challenging. But Ethan Pino comes through for P32 with Macaulay all over the back of him, rips a massive skid out of the last corner for good measure. But race 2, how was that relative to race 2 of Split Blue? I think it was a tiny bit cleaner, but I'll leave you guys to throw a bit more judgment into it.
Clean is it's a relative term.
It's a relative term, yeah. It wasn't perfect. I won't say it was.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad. As we're going to recap our race results. So, oh. No? Yep, no, that's okay, that's right. So Zach Smith does get the win. So
No, he hasn't applied the penalty yet.
Oh, so I've got to do maths now.
No, I'll wait for the server to tick over, I think.
Yep.
There's a lot of penalties down the back. But sunset here at the Circuit Americas. That'll do for this first American leg of this Grand Prix season for the Sprint Series here at Octane Online Racing. That LOR car has been seen better days. We'll have a run down the field now. We'll wait for the session to tick over.
Yeah.
It just has. So we'll get a look at the results to finish race 2 of Split Red.
There we go. So it is JP Sonikas on gets the win. Lucas Keys in second. Zachary Smith will finish in third. Floyd and Cooley are your top 5. Driver of the day, Chris Cooley by a mile. Johnson, Palmer and Bartlett are your silver podium. Pro-Am will go to Scotty Rochford, Samuel and Wood. And Am class is Brickley, McCarty and Hyssop. Wow, there we go. Round 1 in the books.
That was a fun evening. It was probably not a steward's best day, but it was good. It was good viewing. Couple of lessons to learn, but apart from that, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this evening with you two gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming along.
Pleasure as always. Thank you, chat. Chat was awesome.
Thanks, JC. I think he's letting his missus have a very well-deserved rest.
I am trying my best. Thank you, boys, for carrying me tonight. I promise I'll bring more energy next week. I really do appreciate you, boys, tonight. Thank you.
No stress, mate. All good. Thank you all. Thank you, chat. Thank you, stewards. Thank you, Ben Hignett, for your fantastic broadcast as always. Thank you, Sean Muller. It's very, very good to see you back in the sprint commentary box. My name is Tom Maloney. Say hi to Tarquin's mum for me. Have a good night, everyone.